Time for divine shot, KJ events. This real talk's the brand. You understand how we do, my man. I'm on that Friday night Knicks shit, dripping in Knicks shit. Up in the world, most famous arena with the click. That's the conglomerate. The Knicks real talk, the real prominent. I'm a bit like the Omicron variants, dominant. Paying homage to the cats in the chat. That's where it's at. Cause I'm hearing that you don't care for how early we straight facts. We interact with the mob, the gods. Up in the pod, the squad, the facade. My entourage be on the job, my energy. Feeling tripping in temple as they cook my game plan. Let my brand for loop and pursuit. Going hard like the New York City gritty committee. Cause that's the things we ain't always pretty, but we all stay giddy. But we afraid the fan base like the late Anthony Mace. We create the logo when there's airspace that appear like Squarespace. Staring down on the Chase Bridge, look at that Knicks City drip. There's 50 dashes on the court, looking pretty legit. I say true to the orange and blue. I thought you knew, so here's a few bars to shine like stars divine to Mount Mars. Knicks real talk. Here we go, let's go.
Knicks real talk right here. I'm representing
Knicks real talk.
right here. Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
We here in the building.
Knicks real talk.
Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Knicks real talk.
We here.
Here we go, let's go.
Knicks real talk. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Let's get it. Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? What's going on? Knicks Real Talk. We in the building, Divine Shop. We in the building for the night, man. Talk to Knicks basketball. Hope everybody had a great Sunday. Everybody doing what they did, man. They're here chilling in here with us, about to get it popping. Let me bring my partner in crime here, man, who hard on the job, doing what he do. Shaw Powers, what's good, fam?
Salute to you, Divine. Salute to the chat. Let's get it.
Salute to the chat. That's where it's at. Knicks Real Talk. We in the building, man. We gonna get into it tonight, man. We're going to get into this thing with a trade partner for the Knicks and best fit for the Knicks, things of that nature. We're going to talk a little Knicks basketball tonight, man. I know it's been a quiet. We out to be in the off season now. Our team out there doing what they're doing, whether they're out there working out or making moves, or coaching there, executive doing what they do. But we ain't here, man. We're going to talk about the Knicks off season a little bit more coming up the last couple of episodes. But tonight I'm really excited about it, man, because you know, this thing can go either way. Knicks don't do nothing, or Knicks do something, Shaw Powers. I'm really interested to see what these cats going to do moving forward. If they're going to hook up with some of the people they previously had dealings with, for as partners that deal with other teams. Knicks got a lot of connections out there. Detroit, Scott Perry and all these guys, and Oklahoma City and things like that. And Knicks had dealt with a lot of these guys over the last couple of years. So I wonder if they still got something out there brewing that might get them better. So we're going to talk about it tonight.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, you got the chatter about Indiana is really heavy right now. You got the chatter with Washington that's probably going to blow it up. There's a couple of teams in the East, you know, even though they're in the East, in the Eastern standings, there's a lot of teams in the East that are you know, probably going to blow it up a little bit, you know what I mean? And, you know, you got the Atlanta, you got the Miamis, you got the Torontos, you know, you may see some shakeup from Boston, you may see a little shakeup from Milwaukee. So a lot of the teams that were in front of us, and you might see some moves from 76ers. So a lot of teams in the East are going to change up a little bit of what they had from last year. And I'm not sure what I want and what I think the Knicks are going to do are two separate things, man. I think I want us to make a move. I want us to look into some KPs or some grants or maybe move, you know, who we're going to move or something like that. But overall, I think the Knicks may try to stay pat a little bit, you know what I mean, because of so many teams are going to be making so many moves, and with the camaraderie that we have together, the togetherness that we have together, the hope that some of our players get a little better in their you know, in their mid game and 3-point land. You know, I think we may, I don't know. And I mean, I'm hoping that we make some moves that's to strengthen the court, open up the floor a little bit. But, you know, overall, we did win 47 games last year, and we did make it to the second round in the playoffs, 2 games away from possibly being in the Eastern Conference Finals right now. You know what I mean? And, you know, maybe even, you know, making it to the, you know, to the playoffs. So, you know, what you gonna do, Divine? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
For real, but I know we need to do. we need to definitely do a little bit of upgrade, and not, you know, I don't think they need to do much, and we'll get into all that. We don't need to do much, but we need to do something, because I think, reason why I say that, because for one reason, I think when you talked about it behind the scenes, there's no way that Knicks can go in the next year letting Evan Fournier be on a basketball team and don't play a season. I just think that would be a disservice to him. So you got to look at a guy like, I mean, don't get me wrong, they can do it, but I'm just hoping that the character of the organization don't allow Evan Fournier as a Knick to come into next season sitting on that bench. Though it can benefit us in the long run, like we talked about when it comes to the trading deadline. He'd be a little bit more valuable then, but he's valuable now because But I'm hoping Knicks find a way to get rid of him, where he can go out there and at least have a chance to play. He still got game in him. The season before, he knocked out 213 3-pointers, something of that nature. He just didn't fit with Tom Thibodeau and them Knicks were trying to do the past season. So I do think they need to get him out of here. And that's one way, if we could deal with the trade market some way, because they know they need to do something. So I do think that's one way, but I think we just got to find out the people who we're going to trade with and what they want, because regardless of what we want, is what they want to give up. Obviously, they got to see what they want to give up, because a lot of these teams, like Miami might not blow. They might say we might need to go get a Donovan Mitchell. We need to go get somebody to play with Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero to try to run at it again. So I don't think they knowing Pat Riley ain't gonna do that. Pat Riley, he want to win. He's a competitor. He's gonna revamp that team one way or the other. So we gotta always remember they might be in the market for doing something. You look at all the teams up and down the Eastern Conference and the Eastern in our own division as well. Philadelphia 76ers, like you said, Boston. I can see Washington doing some things. So we got to just see what other teams gonna do. But like you said, we got to count in the playoff 53 wins. Second round, had a chance to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you never know, could have went to the finals. You just never know. So I think they know they so close. I think they're gonna do something, but what it is, I have no idea. I just know with the position that we need, what I think we should go for. But they might sit back because of salary shop. How they might say, you know what? We could wait the next year when we're going to have boom, you know what I mean? Just money off the books and everything. So they might just, you never know. But I do think if they want to compete the way they were this year, they got to bring in another player to me, because I just don't think they can stand there if everybody start reloading. You know what I mean? Who knows? It remains to be seen. But I think we're going to be good no matter which way. And I'm confident that the Knicks are going to do something to bolster this team just a little bit more. But we got a lot of decisions to make. We talked about it, and like every other stream, they got decisions to make quick. They got a manual quickly decisions to make. They have Obi Toppin don't necessarily got to make it right now, but it's still going to play into the future. One more year from now, you're gonna have to do something with these guys. And like I said, Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, guys like that, who I don't think they will decline his option and still bring him back, maybe, unless he's in a trade. If he's not in a trade, he's that guy they will bring back, because I know a lot of people talk about Chris Paul, his leadership, but we do have that same leadership in Derrick Rose there. You know what I mean? So that's interesting with the Chris Paul thing. I don't think he's coming this way though. I think he's gonna go out there to one of them championship contender team. I mean, we championship contender, to be honest with you, but somebody who I think they know they got superstars already, like the LeBrons of the world, and you never know.
Yeah, LA bound. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. He can go back to the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, because he played with the Clippers with Blake Griffin and all them guys. So you never know, but it's so many things out there that we can deal with. But I do think that I'm comfortable where we at, Shop Howard. Let's see where the Knicks go with it. I'm comfortable where we at. I know we can improve and get better, but I'm comfortable with where they at, and just we hope, like we're gonna bang on a little hope, like we always say, that these guys don't have a subpar playoff like they had this year. They got certain guys like Quickly and Randall and them. They don't have those subpar playoff game. We might sing in a different tune. So let's see what the Knicks do. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in the next couple of months. Got the draft coming up, obviously free agency after that. So we got to see what's going on with the Knicks, man. But I do think they got to do something, just due to the fact, to me, of Evan Fournier. I think they got to move something. Just because of him, the Knicks got to make a trade. I don't know what it might be, but I think because no way you can sit $18 million on that bench again. So I think he might be one of the guys. And the Obi situation is out there, but I don't know, Chop. I like Obi Toppin, man. So I hate to see the Knicks even think about getting rid of him, but I understand they did because of the situation with the Randall and all that good stuff. But we got some good talent out here. RJ, everybody, Randall, we got a lot. Mitchell Robinson, we got some talent out here that no matter what you do, they can put them in the scenario, and we can bring back a really good talent if they need be. But we have to see how that goes from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked in the background, man. The first thing for me even if we don't make any real big, super duper moves or anything like that, is to getting off Evan Fournier's contract. And I mean, Evan Fournier sitting on the bench, like, all right, we talked about it in the back, and I mean, you keep Evan Fournier and don't play him, it's gonna suck. Suck for his mental, his physical, everything. He is going to be probably highly upset. Hasn't played since beginning of last year. But as a business, the better trade time for Evan Fournier would probably be around the trade deadline. I mean, sometime in around the trade deadline, and would you sit this guy all the way until the end of into next year, into January, February, right around where the trade deadline is, and have him just ride the bench like that? I don't know. But my first thing is try to get off of Evan Fournier. The highs and the lows, like if you trade him now, you might have to include a pick with him, to get him off the contract, maybe a couple of seconds or something like that. But at the trade deadline, you probably could give him away. Somebody will take him freely off your hands. So something to think about. And the next thing is to decide what they're going to do with Derrick Rose. Are they just going to let the contract expire by what is it, June something, or July 1st or something like that?
Around July.
Are they just going to let the money? Are they just going to recoup the money from Derrick Rose, not re-sign him? I mean, we do have a almost $5 million vet minimum contract that maybe. To buy Aaron, you the vet thing over there, that whatever that 4.5 money is, that's like some vet minimum. Maybe we can let him go and re-sign him for that if we want to keep a hold of him, to hold that roster spot on there. But we definitely need to get off of some dead contracts. And Derrick Rose is one of those dead contracts, and Evan Fournier is certainly a dead contract that we need to, figure out what we're going to do with that, and aside from that, I don't know what we can do. I mean, it'd be a great way if we could get off of Evan Fournier and pick up another shooter, and another shooter around what, like we talked about in the background, with another shooter that's around Evan Fournier's money. Evan Fournier is like $18-19 million. Maybe we could make a deal and maybe look to get someone like what was the guy's name? I said
Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield. Maybe we could go and get the like top 5 guy in the league in shooting 3-pointers in the last couple of years. Maybe we can swing a deal where we could. I think they make around the same amount of money. They got to be pretty close, $1 million up or $1 million down, something like that. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe we can include we figure out how we can deal with Indiana and who we can get for Indiana and what we would have to give up. Maybe we could give up Obi Toppin and Evan Fournier, and we could bring back Duarte and Buddy Hield. Who knows? If the money works out and stuff like that. But I know the first thing that I think the Knicks need to do, aside from Derrick Rose, is to get off that Evan Fournier money quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah. Well, let's look at the Knicks from a salary perspective. Knicks and a team from a salary perspective. Like I said, where they stand from a team and player salary standpoint. If you look at the Knicks right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty much, what it is with the Knicks. They got cancel. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at it right now, Shy Powers guaranteed salaries. Julius Randle, $28 million. Jalen Brunson, $26 million. R.J. Barrett, $23 million, almost 24 per se. Evan Fournier, almost $19 million. Mitchell Robinson got almost $17 million. Hockenstein, $9 million. Obi, $6 million. Quickly, $4 million. Grimes, $2 million. And Jericho, $600,000. That's all guaranteed money on the Knicks, and that totals $136 million. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. They roughly around $136 million in guaranteed salary. Obviously, you got Josh Hart, $12 million. Bird rights. That's going to be, he's going to decline that, and they're going to assign him team options. Derrick Rose, almost $15.5 million. McBride, close to $2 million. That's $17 in team options. Obviously, Derrick Rose, you think they probably go ahead and let that go. And McBride, they like him. They like what he could do. They like him being around. His defense nasty and all that good stuff. So that's not something they had to worry about with a 1.2 million to 1.8 million dollar salary. They might well sort it, but non-guaranteed money. Jeffrey's got 2 million. Roby got 2 million. Sims 1.3. That's non-guaranteed though. So I mean, they don't even have to do nothing with that per se. But then you look at restricted free agents, none. Two-way free agents, Trevor Keels and Dwayne Washington. Draft picks, none. Extension eligible players. You got Evan Fournier, which I don't think they're going to do that. Josh Hart, they probably will. Derrick Rose, I doubt it. They might bring him back later. Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin, rookie scale, extension eligible. They're eligible for that extension. With all that being said, now that you see what the Knicks is made up and what they got going on there, how do you feel about any of these players? We don't think Evan Fournier is going to be back for sure? I just don't see that happening in Knick land right now. I think Evan Fournier probably be a done deal. What do you think the Knicks should do with what they say that after you look at everything I put up there, knowing that they got 136 million in guaranteed contracts out there? Derrick Rose got a bird right when at a 15, almost 16 million, and other than that, everything else is real small. But Evan Fournier, Josh Hart, Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly, and Obi Toppin, them cats extension eligible. Do you think
are those players' money included in that 136 million?
No, not at all, because they not get
yeah.
No, they not the only ones with the guaranteed salaries.
Guaranteed.
Yeah,
because with those other guys that we're talking about, that's going to push us closer to our cap 100 and I think it's 160ish or something like that, 160 mil. Yeah. So if you add that 20 million for 18 million for J Hard, add Obi Toppin, his minimum is like 10. I think IQ is about 6 million, something like that. You add the Grimes and all the rest of the guys. We're getting closer to that 160 million that our cap number. So the one, like I said, the major two things that we need to think about is Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose. Are we going to sign Derrick Rose again? I hope not. I don't, especially not for no 15 million. We need all that money. We need all that money. So I don't think that we sign D Rose. I think D Rose will probably be picked up in free agency, and Evan Fournier, we need to move him. And more than likely, if we move Evan Fournier, it's going to be with a player to get maybe a better player. If you add Evan Fournier and Obi Toppin, now you're looking at about $30 million. If you add Evan Fournier and RJ, you're looking at 43 million or so. So, it all depends on what the Knicks are going to do. But whatever they do, they need that Evan Fournier contract needs to be moved so we can get a player that can contribute either off the bench or, if we're bringing in somebody that's big to be in the starting lineup or whatever we got to do. That Evan Fournier contract is the number one thing that I know that the Knicks front office is trying to get, trying to make it happen. And who they include him with, if you include him and Mitchell Robinson together, you're looking at $33 million. Any one of these guys that we're thinking about, the Siakams, the OGs, not OG so much. The Siakams, the Grants, the KPs, you have to include Evan Fournier's contract. And any one of those three guys that I just made, we got to include the Evan Fournier contract in there to make to fill the money. And then we will have to figure out who we will have to pick to add with him to make up the difference to make the deal done. So Evan Fournier is the big thing right now. Evan Fournier is the big thing right now, and Evan Fournier and whoever you want to pick. It has to be somebody that's depending on who it is, how many picks you're gonna add, or if you want to add any picks, it all depends on what you're gonna do. And I mean, there's the scat out there about Levine, the talk about how KP was talking real good about the Knicks. We want to stay around the guys that are around $28 million to $37 million. So we won't be hit too hard or cap money. And I mean, that's what we want to say. Those numbers that we talk about with Levine, I had a trade for Levine where he can come in here. He comes in this year and then he has 2 more years on his contract. But his contract is $40 million. His next 3 years is $40 million, $40 million, $40 million. However, it is 40 something, 40 something, and 40 something. You're talking about going out getting cat. It's 50, 50, 52 or 53, 50, 56, and then 60. You're talking about getting Dame. Only good thing about getting Dame is I think he only has another extension of 2 years. But why would we get Dame? He's a point guard. We don't need him. So, whatever we do, it's all about Evan Fournier. We've been talking about Evan Fournier for the end of the year. Now we're talking about him even more because that's the piece that's going to be in any trade to get any of these guys like a Grant or a KP or any of those guys, Siakams, those guys that's getting $30-something million. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, real talk. I just want to make a correction for me to you. Obi Toppin and the Manipuli is included in that guaranteed money.
Oh, okay. That's the minimum though, right?
Yeah, they part that $136 million. They part that $136 million guaranteed salary for the Knicks. Derrick Rose, obviously, McBride is not. Only one that's guaranteed on that Knicks team, as I said earlier, was Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett, Evan Fournier, Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes and Jericho Sims. Them the only cats on that team that's got guaranteed money. So everybody else pretty much got non-guarantees or they just not signed to the guaranteed money, the salary cap. So the Knicks do got flexibility there. I think there's a lot of ways the Knicks can go with this thing. And I'm hoping that they do it accordingly. They do it according to what they need, not just because they have to, but they got a lot of decisions to make because, like I said, and the thing about it, I forgot to show you guys, when I was on there was they got a mid-level exception for $12 million, $220,600. They got a biannual exception for $4,448,000. Here's the caveat to that. They would lose that if that team surprises the tax implications.
Right. Anybody go into that luxury, you lose that biannual.
So I'm hoping that's why I do think that the Knicks they're gonna avoid that because even if you move Derrick Rose and Evan Fournier, you that down to almost 118 guaranteed or something like that. I mean, they way down there. So I think they'd be okay. That's why what makes me say, Shot Powers, when you got $33 million that you can literally get off the books, of close to $35 million you can get off the books, and Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose, it's hard not to see the Knicks making them players this summer. You know what I mean? That could really, even if they bring back somebody on the expiring, even with getting rid of their expiring, but bringing somebody in with an expiring that could play the game. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, you got $33 million sitting on a bench. Derrick Rose and Evan Fournier over $34 million, not even being used. What I think the Knicks can do is also go ahead and taking a player who making 34, 35 on the expiring. Who cares? But after that, you still get your money back. You know what I mean? So that's why I anticipate the Knicks making a move to get somebody just due to the fact you got 2 players who are not even playing basketball, got $30-something million on your bench, and you're not even using them. So the best thing for the Knicks to do is go get somebody who equivalent to $37 million on a 1-year deal, but they could have an impact on what we do next year. And then at the end of that year, you back to normal. You still got the $37 million back, and that player that you brought in was on expiring. And if you don't bring them back in after that year, so be it. But even if you do bring them back in, you got the money to do it. So it's going to be, the Knicks don't got to do a lot of stuff to me. They just need to do something. But I think the smart move is to get and benefit off them 2 contracts they got. And And because if you look over the last 4 or 5 years, the Knicks don't. As a matter of fact, last year, you think about this here. The only player on the Knicks that I know of that was traded to the Knicks, I think it was Josh Hart. And that might be it. Because think about it. The starting five, three of them was there, four of them was there, and you signed one for free agency. Like you signed Jalen Brunson in free agency. Quentin Grimes was here. RJ was here. Randall was here. Mitchell Roberts was here. They wasn't traded. They came through the Knicks organization, and Randall came as a free agent. So and then you look in the second unit, they drafted their second unit. Quickly was a draft. He wasn't traded here. McBride wasn't traded here. Sims wasn't traded here. Hartenstein didn't get traded. He signed as a free agent. You know what I mean? And only one was Josh Hart at the trading deadline for Cam Reddish. So the Knicks literally did no trader for that team they got now. The way it's constructed, only other than when Derrick Rose got here and Evan Fournier got here the year before through the Boston trade. And but other than that, the Knicks haven't even traded with a lot of people, except for in the offseason when they moved it Nerlens Noel to get that money off the books to go get Jalen Brunson. So I do think that now that they done reached this pinnacle of the second round, they know they can go further. You might see a little shift in. You might see a shift in the way they do business. And see, that's why I think some people always complain about the Knicks not playing the young players. Everybody on the Knicks team was either drafted here, except for Randall, Brunson, Hartenstein, and I might be missing one or two that was literally board and free agency or traded here. Derrick Rose was traded here. Evan Fournier was traded here. A lot of them other ones came up through the draft and signed to free agency. So believe it or not, and I do think now with the way the pendulum swinging with New York getting this close to where they was at, this might be the first time in a while you see them make a big trade, because they haven't been making big trades. I think Evan Fournier was the biggest to me. You know what I mean? And I do think that because if you look at it, and I put that up there for you guys real quick, and we can talk about it in a few minutes. The guys that they brought in here, you know, they like I said, they came through there. But if you look at what the Knicks did the last so many years, Shop Howard, and we throw that right quick, we get back to the conversation. In 2023, the Knicks they acquired only trade they did last year with Bogdan Davilovich, power forward, Daniel Dees, and Josh Hart. In that trade with Portland and through via Charlotte and Philadelphia. So that was the only trade they did last year. And then if you go to 2022, then you'll see that year they just did Nerlens Noel, Alex Burks in that trade in the summer for a second round pick. They wanted to get the money off the books to get that done. And obviously that same year, Kemba Walker, Jalen Doran, for the 2025 first round pick, Milwaukee top 4 protected. And then they did the 23rd, they did Oklahoma City when they took the draft right to my man. They got 3 first rounders, Detroit's, Washington's, and Denver's for Ousmane Dang. And then you go down to the last couple, to Jalen Doran. Then he went to Charlotte for the 2022 first, second. Then obviously we did Cam Reddish. That deal for Kevin Knox and Cam Reddish, and then that turned into Josh Hart. And we also did the Rondo one, Cleveland Rondo and the Knicks. So, you know, and that was 2022. And a lot of them players not even in the Knicks system, I don't think. We got the draft picks and everything like that. So I'm just saying all that to say how many trades we did over the last. We don't do too many in out. Boston with Evan Fournier was the biggest one that year. That's then obviously that you had Charlotte Kai Jones for the 22nd first round pick. Joker Bidas and Bowsley Bride for Jamal Robinson, Earl, Kean Johnson for Quentin Grimes. Then that same year, Tanner Ferguson, after we made that trade with Oklahoma City, we sent out Tanner Ferguson, and that went to George Hill over there. Tony Bradley went to Oklahoma City, and then obviously the Dennis Smith Jr. for Derrick Rose. So in the last so many years, we haven't really been dealing no major supreme players, like literally supreme players came in here and said, we're going to come to the Knicks and we're going to make it happen. I haven't seen that yet, but this might be the first year they do it. I think the Knicks go out there and make a trade for somebody that's real. That's what they thought Evan Fournier would have been for these last couple of years, which it didn't pan out that way. They might go get a player of that type of money or better due to the fact they got the contracts to do it. And I think we got to really wonder if they're going to make that move this summer. I think they're going to do something, and I don't think they're going to stand pat. But I'm hoping whatever they do, we do it the right way and we get it done. We need a couple of pieces here. Don't got to be major. They ain't got to be superstars. We just need some void to fill. And not knowing our situation with Obi Toppin and Emmanuel quickly and all that stuff. So I mean, like I said, you do have Derrick Rose, you do got Fournier, which is powerful to move. That's 30 something million. I think the Knicks got to cash in on that this year. Jalen Brunson, you got a guy there who's a star. And you could do all this and keep the same core. You literally could keep that starting five for the Knicks and trade Fournier and Derrick Rose and still be deadly. Think about that. You don't have to trade no Randall. You don't have to trade RJ. You ain't got to trade. You can bring that whole starting five back if you want to, or you got enough to go get a player with one of them guys if you want to move one of them. That the Knicks got to do something. I think they're gonna do it. I think they're in the right position to do it, Shot Powers. And I just think all they got to do is see what's out there. You got Devontae Murray name out there. You got Cat out there. You got all these names out there, and the Knicks got a chance to go get one of them. They literally got a chance to go get anybody they want. If they come available, Zach LaVine, anybody, the Knicks can get it. So I think without messing with their infrastructure for a long term. Because some of these guys, we think they got these big contracts. You got to take into consideration contracts that you're moving out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the salary cap going up. And the salary cap be going up. So, you got to take advantage, strike with an iron hot. And whether it's a minor move, I think they got an opportunity to make this team better. And I think they need to capitalize off that Shot Powers if they're willing to go another step further.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing you have to take into consideration, if they do go into the lower echelons of the luxury tax, as long I'm not 100%, but I think as long as they pay the difference, they won't have to pay the tax. So if they go in, say they go in 8-10 million in or something like that, and they and I think it's around maybe the trade deadline or something like that, they could shed a contract to not stay in the luxury tax so they don't have to pay the money, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a couple of things that the Knicks can do, man. And like I'm banging out this whole show, man. The first thing I'm thinking about is Evan Fournier, man. And salute Quiet Money. First thing I'm thinking about is Evan Fournier, man. And Evan Fournier is the number one thing to do. And if it's Evan Fournier, who do we add with Evan Fournier to make a move? You know what I mean? And that's pretty much where it's at right now. Do we get Evan is Tom Thibodeau next year? If we get that player that could substitute for Evan Fournier, will he open up the roster to? Will he be more inclined to run maybe a 10-man rotation next year? If we move a straight trade with Evan Fournier and get back Buddy Hield, like I said, I think they make around the same amount of money. Do we make a straight trade like that? I think Buddy Hield may have. I know he has about the same or 1 year less than what Evan Fournier is. So do we do that? You know what I mean? But the biggest thing is Evan Fournier, man. Evan Fournier. We have to get off of that contract. I think the Knicks let D Rose contract expire. I don't know how that money comes back and where does it come to? Does it add on to that $12 million that we have, or is that just an open contract, or does that bring us down under the luxury tax? I'm not 100% sure. But moving Evan Fournier, I don't think we recoup the money if we move him right away unless we bring a player back. So I think that we would have to move off of Evan Fournier to bring someone back to fill that slot, because we also have to run about a 15-man rotation as well.
Yeah. Evan Fournier is the way you either trade him or you waive him. That's all the option they have there. Trade him or waive him. And you will still you waive him. You still got a $15 million on the books. I mean, $18 million on the books, but he's still gonna be traded. I think that's probably going to be the most easiest and simple move for the New York Knicks. If you don't want to break up the continuity and the camaraderie and the chemistry and stuff, is to get Evan Fournier to a team where he could play and have a chance to help a contender. You know what I mean? Send him to somewhere he got a chance to play. Do the man. Hey, listen, I know he's a professional. This is a business, but I think like I said, that could be done. You just send him somewhere where you're gonna get some quality back. The player you bring back could have an impact like he did the last year. Like Evan Fournier had an impact last year when he hit them 200 something threes, but obviously the team was in a really, how would I say, injured season. A lot of players was down, so they really couldn't capitalize off of Evan Fournier because Derrick Rose went down, Nerlens Noel went down, Kemba Walker went down, and Alex Burks moved to the starting unit. That took away the bench power. There was so many variables in that season when Fournier played that I think it would have paid dividends if we wouldn't have had all the injuries. If Nerlens Noel wouldn't have went down, Mitchell Robinson just coming off an injury had to start the season when he wasn't really 100% ready. He had to get into conditioning. I think Evan Fournier might would have worked out for the Knicks that year if it wasn't for all the injuries with some of our key players. We lost a lot of firepower with Nerlens Noel, Derrick Rose, Kemba Walker, and them guys, man. We lost a lot of firepower, and I think we couldn't overcome it with the young guy that we just had brought in with Grimes at that time. McBride and Siddles raw. They was raw. They wasn't really ready to take on our responsibility, what we were trying to do. After coming off the first round of the playoff the year before, the Knicks was building that team to go back there again. But obviously, it went in a different direction with the injury. So he will be, I think he would have paid dividends. But this year, obviously, Tom Thibodeau seen him play a couple of times. And I think me and you talked about in the offseason, what did we say? Quentin Grimes will make Evan Fournier expendable.
Facts.
And that were facts right there. We talked about that the whole offseason. Like, Evan Fournier is going to be a wrap because Quentin Grimes got a better defense than him, make better, and he can shoot the ball just as good as he can. Because that year, Evan Fournier shot, 39 from downtown? That year, Quentin Grimes shot like 38, small sample size, but he did shoot 38 or 39% from downtown that year. But he was right around where Evan Fournier was at with a better defense. And sure enough, that's what happened. They started Quentin Grimes, put Evan Fournier to the bench. Knicks was in the second round of the playoffs. With every other thing that went around it. So I think you got to move him. And I think you will be able to recoup something from him, Shy Powers. So I think you got to do something, whether it's a draft pick or another player. The Obi thing, that's interesting to me. I don't know if the Knicks move him, but if they do, the only reason they move him because they just feel like he getting a disservice done to him playing behind Julius Randle. You know what I mean? We said last year, I said, why you don't put him at the 3 or whatever? But now you got RJ doing what he's doing, Grimes doing what he's doing. It's just a tough spot for Obi Toppin, man. So will they move him? I hope not. I hope they don't. I really like this roster. I think all the Knicks got to do, Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose, take that $30-something million if you can and go get you somebody who can come in here and play whether they starting or on the bench. I don't care which way, but they can have an impact, and I think the Knicks will be okay. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting, man. But for the teams that, we dealt with over the years, that the Knicks really have dealt with. You look at the team connection we did a lot of dealing with Detroit. We did dealing with they got the Dallas Knicks over there, obviously. Under Portland, we got the Cam Reddish and Josh Hart. Atlanta Hawks with Kevin Knox and Cam Reddish. So we got teams out there who we got a history of trading with, especially the Detroit Pistons. I mean, we 2 years in a row, Derrick Rose and Dennis Smith Jr., the last year, Alex Burks and Kemba Walker, everybody. So teams like that, and obviously, like I said, Dallas, out of all them teams, it could be somebody there like Alex Burks who you could bring in here. It could, somebody I heard the quote unquote James Wiseman. I was like, what the hell? So but you never know. So I say all that to say is that we got teams out there that we got connections with. And that's a good thing about when we had Scott Perry there, because Scott Perry came through the Detroit system. He was well known in the NBA confines of dealing with a lot of teams. Orlando Magic. He drafted them cats down there. Out there is drafted out of Sacramento. So that's one thing I did love about Scott Perry because he had connections. But now they got cats in there who got connections to players, like Worldwide West. All these cats got connections to players. So and Leon Rose, they got connections to players. And that's interesting. So I want to see what Knicks go with this thing, man. I really want to see what they're gonna do. They're gonna shake and move a little bit. I hope they do because I think we really need to just make that money work for us. That's all I'm saying. Make the money work for us, and then we'll take it from there. And I think they're gonna do something, Shop Powers.
Yeah, it is so like it's so many things that the Knicks could do this year, we talk about it all the time, man. Is it going to be RJ? Is it going to be Randall? Is it going to be Obi or is it going to be IQ? Those names are still out there, and if you want to get, if you want to change, there's so many ways that the Knicks can make a move to get any of these players that if they really want them and still stay under the cap and still have a little bit of money to play with and maybe even keep that $4.5 million. You know what I mean? And to put some pieces on the bench and stuff like that. So it's just how they're gonna do it, what we're gonna do. You see all the things in the Twitter, on YouTube. This person looking to trade, talking Donovan Mitchell, talking all these guys. The Knicks are in a really good spot, man, and they have some good contracts that they can move off of. Two players, a player here, plus maybe one of the rotational players that we use. And we got somebody new on our team. You know what I mean? If you wanna put RJ and RJ and Evan Fournier. If you want to put Mitchell Robinson and Evan Fournier. If you want to put RJ, Evan Fournier, and Obi, you got a lot of ways that you can get a player, decrease your money and at your cap, and still have a chance to move players and bring another player in to fill another spot on your roster. I mean, and if you need any help with anything like that, you got plenty of first round picks. You have plenty of second round picks that you can add into the equation too. You know what I mean? You think that you look at guys' stats for the year and stuff like that. You think RJ didn't have a good year. You don't think RJ is going to be as good as he was. If you don't think he's going to make any dramatic moves in his game and stuff like that, or if you want to use him as, look how RJ played in the playoffs. He's a big time player. He's still young. He still could be molded. He still could be nurtured, and showed how to get to those moves. A lot of the players that are mentioned for RJ are 3-4 years older than RJ. So, and at the time when RJ get 3 more years under his belt, he's going to be a premier player. But do we have the time to invest in RJ? Because of Jalen Brunson, he came in here and he changed the whole spectrum of everything. That rebuild, the third-year rebuild is over. We got a bona fide point guard now, so we have to build around him now. And how are we going to build around him? And one of the biggest pieces that are, aside from Evan Fournier, is a lot of chatters about RJ Barrett. You know what I mean? You can, if you didn't want to do anything else but move RJ Barrett to the Raptors, to Toronto, and get OG to come here, that's an upgrade. And I mean, OG is a little older because he's a little bit, he's been in the league, I think maybe a couple of years. He's a little older in age, and he does the things that we want RJ to do next year. Are we sure that RJ is going to do that? Is he going to be a better his field goal percentage is going to be better? His 3-point percentage is going to be a little better? That makes a difference, because if we could see what the future is, we would know who we really want to move. So, you can get somebody with 25 million and 19 million. You could get somebody with 19 million and 15 million. You could get somebody with 25 million, 19 million, and 8 million. It's a couple of numbers that if you put the numbers together, you can get to that 40. That if you want to get a guy that you think is going to take you over the top, and he's about $40 million or something like that, we can get that, and we can stay right under our cap and see how it works, and still have a chance to hold on to one of those smaller contracts to pick up somebody else to put on our bench, to bolster our bench. There's so many ways that the Knicks can make a move. We all sit here and talk about, who we like, and who we like to see. Like I like to see KP, and how I would get KP is, and I know this is not going to happen anymore. I'm starting to really get out of it, but I'm going to say, I think we could get KP with moving IQ and Randall. I think that and IQ and Randall, and and then Obi, Obi has a chance. You know what I mean? And then we can pick up a someone to help our bench out. Buddy Hill, or maybe he might be a little bit out of our range, but we could look at a Schroeder. I think I got a small contract, $4, $5, $6 million, or everyone's talking about this DiVincenzo or something like that. We could go look and see about DiVincenzo. It's a whole lot of things that, if you look at RJ, if you want to get Levine, there's a way to get Levine. You could get KP and still have Randall if you want that, and move Mitch with Fournier and Evan Fournier and Mitchell Robinson. You know what I mean? If you want to, so many ways that you could get the player that you want. You know what I mean? But you can't go too far. You can't be 40-something million. You can't go 40-something million, because now you're talking about maybe 3 players. We bring 1 player back. We might not be able to. You would have to split that $12 million down to 2 players and stuff like that. Now you really got to do some homework. So there's a way that we could get some of these players that we talk about. The Levines, the low end, 40 million, the 30, the Siakams, the 37. I think he's around 37 million. The Grants, that's going to be about 30 million. You know what I mean? The KPs, you could probably get KP in here for 30 million or so, So it's a way to get these guys, but how we just spitballing. Everybody, we're saying what we like, but what the Knicks are going to do is probably going to be totally different from what all of us are thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this called possibilities and scenarios. But
yeah.
Hey, Knicks are nice. I tell you what, though, that might not be the best defense team in the world, but damn, that offense would be ridiculous. JB, Grimes, Levine, Randall, and Cat. That's 5 cats you cannot stop. JB and Levine and Randall alone is on, and the Cat. Yo, you ain't messing with that, bro. The defense might be suspect, but that offense will be prolific. JB can shoot the 3. Grimes can shoot the 3. Levine can shoot the 3. Randall can shoot the 3. And Cat shoot damn near 40 from downtown. Man, that shit would you would have to have a really tough defense to beat that team, because all them cats can play basketball. Grimes, the defense stopper back there. Levine can knock him down. JB can knock him down. JB shot down there 40 from down there this year. Levine can knock him down for downtown. Cat shot down there for 40. Boy, that shit'd be crazy. But I don't see it happening. But I like that from an offense standpoint. That would be tremendous. Trust me when I'm telling you. Because you got JB and Grimes. JB and Levine alone literally can get you 30. Randall can get you 30, 40 when he hot. Cat can get you that. So I like that, man. I just think that the offense will be the defense will be a little bit tough. But I like that damn offense, though, bro. I just had to put that out there, my man. I appreciate you, man. Because that shit is legit. That's some offense for your butt right there. You would have put a lot of pressure on the Grimes. But if Cat averaged 1.5 blocks a game, he ain't great defense, but he plays, though. He would have to really step his game up to help him catch out. Randall had to come out of his bag and do what he do on defense. But I tell you what, though, that's all open floor right there. That's all open floor.
There's a way to do that. I mean, it's hard. It would be hard, but to get Levine, and you would have to trade both Randall and RJ. With a couple of players like an Obi and an IQ. You know what I mean? And it is possible. Just like with if you really wanted to get, try to get funky, you can get KP here and OG Abdenobi if you want to. You trade 1-on-1 straight up RJ for OG, and you want to get KP here, you get Randall and IQ, and you don't lose nothing. Now your money matches up. You got a bigger wing now. You got a better shooter at the 3-point land from last year's stats. KP with he has a better on court percentage wise than Randall, and these guys can hit the 3-point shot now. You know what I mean? And the only thing you would have to do is get someone to somebody else in the second unit to be a shooting guard or a point guard or something like that. And now you still have the money for it if you wanted to get DiVincenzo. That's a name that I keep hearing, DiVincenzo. I think I think he's a little bit out of our range. I think he's going to want to get a little. If he leaves, I think he only makes $3-4 million. If he goes anyway, he's probably going to want 12, 15, 20, $18 million. We can get a Schroeder though. We can get a Schroeder. We could get a. We might could get a Westbrook. Westbrook probably want a vet minimum. He'll probably come over here and help us out in the second unit, stuff like that.
He don't need no more. Sure. But you know what's interesting about DiVincenzo? People don't know you got to remember he's coming off a bad injury too, though. I mean, I know he's a Villanova dude, Jay Hard and all them cats. He played with my man them last year, but they ain't go to he didn't do enough to help Golden State Warriors get to that level. I know he's the name out there because of Josh Hart and Jay Villanova thing, but y'all got to remember he was let go by the Milwaukee Bucks, a championship team. He was on their team. That injury might have kind of set him back a little bit. I like him, but I think we can also get better than that too. That's what I'm trying to say. I think we can get better for DiVincenzo, like you said, Westbrook. I'd rather get Westbrook than DiVincenzo.
I'm just saying, I like Schroeder. I think Schroeder could come in and really finesse that second unit. Schroeder's a strong player. He plays defense. He got long arms. He can hit free throws. He can hit the three, and he can drive the basketball. And he's a pretty decent assist guy. If you want to look something like that.
That's facts. And he played around championship type players too with the Lakers.
Yeah. So
but I don't think Raymond. I think the Knicks can let him go and bring him back. See, that's why I think that Raymond. Just to speak to Raymond's standpoint, I think they will keep their, but they won't keep him at no $15 million. You understand what I'm saying? I think the Knicks they're gonna let the contract expire. They could bring him back on that biannual whatever, but you can't keep Derrick Rose for $15 million if you're not playing him. You know what I mean? So I think he will be back. I just don't think he will be back at $15 million because he's somebody we need on that bit. Because think about it now. Let's keep it 100. Tom Thibodeau didn't play him. You know what I mean? They didn't play him. Literally. I mean, D Rose and Evan Fournier had to bench the whole year, damn near. So what's the use of even having him there unless he's gonna be a mentor? But you can't bring him back at $15 million. And I love D Rose. I'm a D Rose dude. I think what the Knicks gonna do is let it expire. D Rose probably already know this. They're not going to pick up your option, but we'll bring you back maybe for $4 million, make it $11 million cheaper than to get you. You know what I mean? And he just be there. If not, let him go to Chicago, man. Let him go home. Go to Chicago, Milwaukee, Indiana, somewhere close to that Chicago area where a lot of his fans can come see him from back in the day. That's why I would love to see the Knicks I would love to get the deal done with Chicago or get a deal done with Evan Fournier and them just for Derrick Rose need to get back to Chicago. If he's going to retire, Chicago is his hometown. That's what he do. You know what I mean? Or Indiana, which is right across the border, whatever. Send him somewhere to one of them teams where he can have a chance to be appreciated by the people who could drive across a bridge or just drive right there to the arena and see Derrick Rose before he get ready to call it quits. That's what I'm hoping the Knicks do with him. But if not, bring him back on a cheaper contract and let him be a mentor to these young guys. I think that would be the ideal situation. Unless Derrick Rose want to go to a contender, then that's a different story. Derrick Rose said he asked Leon Rose and them, "What can you send me somewhere where I got a chance to win a ring because I never won one?" Or bring him back here. I'm not opposed to bringing Derrick Rose back here on a cheaper contract. Like I said, let him come back and get on his bench and help mentor the young guy. Because you got to think about the Knicks the last couple of years. Since Derrick Rose got here, the Knicks, them young cats have been performing. You know what I mean? His mentorship and his leadership when Knicks got to the 2021 playoffs, when they signed Derrick Rose over here and sent Dennis Smith over there, he the one catapulted the Knicks to the playoffs. And then obviously last year, injuries, about December 4th last year, he went down, and that was it for him. And Knicks were playing good ball before he went down. They went on an 11-game run or whatever and all that stuff after he went down. But so he's an important cog. I love Derrick Rose, but I still think you got to take in consideration that that's a lot of money, man. $15 million for somebody not playing. Evan Fournier got $34 million on that bench, and they're not doing nothing with it. And I don't think they're gonna do that. $34 million. You can add an OB contract that you a superstar away. You understand what I'm saying? Shot Powers, whatever. That's where it's really at because I think that's a lot of money today, and I think that regardless of what happened, the Knicks are in a good place. I just say that to say that, man, because I wouldn't let my man Bentley know I'm not opposed to bringing Derrick Rose back. I just don't want to bring him back at that type of money. But it's a lot of scenarios out there. If you look at what I think Shot Powers, for me, what I think the Knicks may need, I'm looking at the Knicks in what position. I think the Knicks need a backup point guard, as you see across the ticker. I think they need a number two. They need a small forward backup, or they need a backup power forward. And I'm predicating that on maybe if Emmanuel Quickly don't be here, maybe if Obi Toppin don't be here. Derrick Rose don't matter; they're not playing. But let's say we lose Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin. Who I don't think you lose. I would not lose Emmanuel Quickly, if I'm saying this right, just to bring in somebody that's less than him, unless you don't want to pay him the money. So you got to kind of get what you can get from, because you're only going to be able to trade him for the $4 million he's making this year. You're not going to get him for a player because he's not signed yet. So he's still on a $4 million contract. So what you traded Quickly for is to not be able to go into that extension money. But if you trade him this year, you ain't going to be able to get a player equivalent to what he is for the money wise. And I think that might be unless it was a sign and trade type thing going into the offseason, Knicks signing and trading to somebody like Chicago or whatever guy you think the team he should go to, whatever you want to get for the Knicks. But yeah, I think you might could do a sign and trade.
They got to be working on that right now. As soon as the trade deadline, I don't think they could do it past the trade deadline. I mean, the draft, yeah.
But they could do it. They can do it up to it's time for free agency.
Free agency, okay, free agency. That's what it is.
Yeah, because then you start a new year. Your contract's kicking for the next year. So anything before free agency, the Knicks could do that, make a willing deal. They might could do it in the offseason. I'm not sure. I got to kind of check my stats, but somebody know. I think
back 24th. That's the number I remember, 24th.
Yep. Real talk. So I think they can do that scenario there, but for the most part, I do think that they got a lot of opportunities to do what they want to do. And yeah, I agree with you, my man. Salute to the Knicks Brew Crew, my man's in them, because I don't know which one it is, but my man's in them. Salute Phil and all them guys, man. My people down there, man. Good people, man. They got it popping all over the place. Salute to the Brew Crew. Was good. But for me, I think the best move is this Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose. Start there first. Just start there. Start with that $30-something million right there, and see what you're gonna do with it. Because think about this here. That's $30-something million. And you got any player out there at the Knicks other than Jalen Brunson can add to that to make it $60 million. See, that's what people missing. Some people miss a point. You got $34 million for two players not playing. You put a $20 million player with that's $54 million. So don't get it twisted. Somebody come out there and with the Knicks think they can get over the top. They got the personnel and they got the money to do it. That's all to it. That's what it all boiled down to. I don't think they're gonna go that route. I hope they sign quickly. I like Emmanuel Quickly. I hope they give him his money. Let him have Evan Fournier money. The money you're going to give Evan Fournier, you give that to Emmanuel Quickly. The money you got going to give Derrick Rose, you give to Josh Hart. Plain and simple. And then you fill them other void with that mid-level exception for $12 million and a biannual for $44 million. And then let's see what it rock with the team. And then after that, we'll see how it goes. But other than that, if you're going to move anybody, it's going to be a couple of cats out there that's available. Let me ask y'all a question. I want to go on a different note real quick. I got a scenario for y'all, and y'all tell me if y'all think I'm tripping. If Kai Soto come into training camp or come into the workouts, Kai Soto from the Philippines, and he ball out, what does that do for Jericho Sims, Hartenstein, and Mitchell Robinson? If he comes in and balls out, he make the Knicks. That's 7-foot center, and he got game now. He decent. He was raw a couple of years ago, but do you know that the Knicks pocket signed that dude for like a Jericho Sims contract and have an impact on this squad just like anybody else? Think about that. Let's say he come in here and he work out, and the Knicks say, you know what? This cat can make it happen. Now you talk about the Mitchell Robinsons, and this is what I mean by this. Salary-wise, you got a guy who can give you the numbers that these cats giving you for $1 million, $2 million, give you the number that some of these cats can give you. Now what happens to? Why do you think the Knicks bring them back in? You think the Knicks just bringing Kai back in here just to bring him in? Nah, they might see something. They might say we didn't get you last year because you was raw. Do you think that cat come in on the 12th and the 14th and work out for the Knicks, and Tom Thibodeau say, you know what? He could do something. That's them the things, the tidbit that I'm looking at. What happens if that man come in training camp and he make it happen? Or he come into the workout and he get invited to camp and he show improve. Hartenstein got a $9 million aspiring. Jericho Simmons in the guaranteed. Mitchell Robinson got 15 million coming. If this cat can do anything to get you 9 rebounds and do the shit they do and can score, watch out, Knicks. That's shot power that see them to move with. That's why I say the Knicks are in a good place. Because they got some flexibility showing up and they've been looking at some good quality people in there, man. And that cat you got to watch out for. Watch out for him. If he coming in and change the game up on June. Matter of fact, it's tomorrow. I think it's the 12th to the 14th. I think he might be in here. But if I'm not mistaken, he might be in here tomorrow to Wednesday working out for the Knicks draft, whatever. But let's see, man. It's gonna be interesting, man. That could change the whole trajectory of cat money as well. Now you can say, okay, I could throw him. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I don't want to have him stand, but this is what the Knicks could think. Okay, I could throw Mitch in the deal with $15 million with 3 years and put him with somebody else with a Fournier or a Derrick Rose, and boom.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That I just want to bring that up because we got to keep that in mind because that's another avenue the Knicks got. They got some capability to do some things, man. And
I mean, you want to get Cat now? Now you add Mitch, Evan Fournier, and who was I about to say? Sims? Oh no, Mitch and Fournier. Mitch is 15. Fournier is 19. So that's 34 million right there. So you wanna think about getting somebody else. You know, you add if you want to get Cat, yeah, you might have to add RJ in there too because I think Cat's this year is getting $50 million. Sheesh, that's a big contract. But you definitely could put Mitch in a deal with Evan Fournier and get KP. No question. You could do that right away.
Yep. And
that money work right away. That money work right away, right now. That you could do that right now. If you want to keep Randall, and that will open up the floor. If we talking about open up the floor, the biggest thing for me is I want to see the floor a little bit more open, and I want a better range of 3-point shooting from our team. And if you want a scoring big man that everybody is screaming about it, talking about Mitch and all this stuff, and he's not a scorer, he's not doing that. You want a scoring center? Get KP. You get KP, Randall will have another all-star year. KP will have an all-star year. Brunson will have an all-star year. You might see the chatter of RJ because the floor will be wide open. That pick and roll with anybody that's picking and rolling with KP, it is going to be something. It's going to be something terrible. That pick and roll with Brunson and KP. That's all I want to see. That's why I like it because I've seen a couple of watching on YouTube. You watch a couple of the KP and Brunson pick and pop. They both do the same thing. One roll to the basket, one drop back to the three. So and they both can pass. So you can see KP pick and popping and drive towards the basket. Brunson on the outside, he throws it back to Brunson, he shoots the three, and vice versa. And I mean, and that will open the whole. If you want a center that's scoring now, all right, you can look at Mitchell Robinson and Evan Fournier. Everything is dealt with Evan Fournier and that money. So what I mean, almost everything is dealing with that money. I think I'm not opposed that Mitch is my guy, and I'm a homer. Big homer for Mitch. But as we're talking about getting better, I see Mitch is not scoring like I want him to score. I think Mitch should already be double-double, but the way they play the basketball, I don't want to say Mitch. All right, Hartenstein gets that little floater in the lane every once in a blue moon, that little jump hook shot that he does. Mitch doesn't do that. Mitch doesn't back down a player and puts his hand up like he wants to make a big man move at all. I don't think I've seen Mitch do that, but maybe one time when Mitch gets the ball at the top of at the foul line, he passes the ball back out. He's a passive in that position. So if you want to put KP into that position, I'm not opposed to it. You want another trade, or you want to take KP? There's another person that we all talk about. For years, we've been talking about this guy. Miles Turner. You want to get Miles Turner? We could trade Mitchell Robinson, Obi Toppin, and the 21st first round pick from Detroit, not ours, the Detroit pick or the Dallas pick, either one you want to pick. You want to get Miles Turner over here to play with his boy Julius Randle. You want to have someone that's going to space the floor as well, that could set a solid pick at the top of the thing. I think he'll be he shot about 37% from three, 30 over 36%. I can't remember what his numbers was from three, but he gets about, I think his scoring went up this year. I think he's up to closer to 18 points this year from years before. Miles Turner.
Oh, yep.
You know what I mean? And you want to move Obi and Mitch. You could probably get Miles Turner with that 24 first round pick from Detroit or from Dallas.
Yep.
You know, if you want to get spacing and you don't want to spend $45 million, I think you can get here. I think, I like Mitch. I like Mitch a whole lot. But I think I can grow that Turner. Could grow on to Turner. Yeah, once I see him block 2 shots and throw a ball down and hit like 5 threes in a game, and he scored 24 points, I think Mitch would be. Right here, Mitch, you right here. But Turner, that's that dude. So I could get with that too.
Yep. Both of them got Turner and Mitch got games that's different. Like Turner, he can do that, but he can't rebound for shit.
Right. He's not especially offensive rebounds.
Let me put this out there. I just want to piggyback off of what we were talking about, the Kai thing, why I brought this up. Because I heard that people probably thought it was crazy. Here's what people forget. The Knicks got a good development staff, ladies and gentlemen. They got a good development staff. Every player the New York Knicks got better under Tom Thibodeau. Every one of them.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. The New York Knicks were not. They scouted this cat for a minute. They've been scouting this young man for a minute. The Kai. So they've been scouting. He came in. So they probably had somebody over there developing him for them. See, that's what people understand. Knicks probably had a guy over there in Philippines helping the man get better. See, and that we just like Joker Biden and all these guys. Knicks got scouts over there in Europe checking them out, probably giving them some plug. The Knicks got people, they got connections, man. That's how they roll. That kid got a chance to do some things. And it don't have to be that he's better than Mitchell Robinson. He could just make it easier for the Knicks to move him because he don't got to replace Mitchell Robinson. The Knicks can go get another center to put in Mitchell Robinson's spot, but he makes a difference because of what he can do with the basketball and his money. He's like a Quentin Grimes, ladies and gentlemen. You're getting a guy on a $2 million deal, got talent like that. $2 million, got talent like he got. You know what I mean? That's like Quentin Grimes. You got him right now for $2 million for the talent he got. That's worth it. So I just think that the Knicks wouldn't have said, we're going to bring you back. And they don't think this cat can play because they already know what he can do. They brought him in here last year. So they'd be like, a year better. A year later, he got a little bit more better. He ain't no saver, but his money, ladies and gentlemen, this is a money business. This is a business.
Right.
Mitchell Robinson, who's a bigger Mitchell Robinson homer than me? I've been the 36th pick from day one. I thought he was going to be a monster for the Knicks. Here's the concern. The injuries starting to take place. Mitchell Robinson was fully healthy in the playoffs last year. Knicks could have done more damage. He played 59 games. 59. You have to take that into consideration when it comes from a business side of the play. Remember this here. Mitchell Robinson was about to go on a deal for Donovan Mitchell. No Knick is guaranteed to be a Knick. Much as I'm a Mitchell Robinson homer, but the New York Knicks was going to trade him in that Donovan Mitchell deal. Not Divine, the Knicks were. So I say all that to say that none of these players is off the books if it's going to do something to make this team more better. They was about to put all them cats in that trade for Donovan Mitchell. It's about the name on the front, not the back. I love Mitch. And I know he do, but I also know that there's players out there who could do what Mitch do and some. So I'm not naive to that. And I'm a Mitch fan. I'm not naive to that. I'm a big Mitch fan, but there's guys who can rebound better than Mitch. There's guys who can block shots just as good as Mitch. And there's guys also who can score better than Mitch. It's a business. So if you get a stretch 5 in here, and he can get you 1.5 block shots or 10, 11 rebounds or whatever, then you got the Knicks gonna be like, I gotta think about that. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it's not really about who. I think you got to look at it from both sides of the fence. Maybe sometimes we got to get out the feelings and emotions and the love for the player and look at what we think the Knicks might do. So I think if that cat come in here, just like any one of our players, just like Quentin Grimes, just like Deuce McBride, we talk about playing Deuce McBride. If you think Kai Soto can't do what Deuce McBride do at 7-7 the way he played, and he been developing. So and I'm a Deuce McBride dude, but look, you might have to trade Deuce because he ain't getting the burn. Deuce McBride is not going to pan out in New York. I'm telling you, he's going to be like Frank Ntilikina. Mark my word, the Knicks will not extend Deuce McBride. And I love Deuce McBride, but his game is you can go get another Deuce McBride in the draft. You know what I mean? So I say that you just got to watch how these cats roll. Like you said, you got Rokas. What they going to do with Rokas? Joker Bidas. So I think the Knicks going to be interested in this summer league, man. But I think that young man, be careful. Because the cat developed like everybody else. He might have been raw a year or two ago. That don't mean he ain't got better though. So let's see. It's gonna be an interesting thing, man. Shop. I just want to put that out there because I think that things like that can be a major difference on how you swing the pendulum.
You are 155% right, Divine, because it all depends on the money. It's about the money. Follow the money. It's about the money. No. Right now. It's not a New York Knicks player right now that, aside from probably Jalen Brunson, that can't get it right now. It's about the money. And if you can trade Mitchell Robinson and Hardenstein and get Kai Soda in here to give you somewhat of what they do with a backup of Jericho Sims, you do it. You know what I mean? You do something like that because that 15-8 is $23 million right there. You know what I mean? That's $23 million. Hardenstein is pretty much on an aspiring contract. Mitchell Robinson money is decreasing every year. 17, 15 this year. I think it's 14 next year. It's going down. You make that trade. You got Roby over here too. If he still makes it to, it's so many things that can happen. And like I said, like you just said, that was a great point about Kai Sosa. If he come in here and he balls out it and he goes to the summer league and he's dominant and all this other stuff, who knows what the Knicks are gonna do? That just makes the pot a little sweeter. We got Kai Sosa in here. He's looking pretty good, 7-footer. We can get off of Sims and Mitch or Hardenstein and Sims or Mitch and Sims, and however contract. I mean, if you want to put the two guys that got to make the most money, you put Mitchell Robinson and Hardenstein, and you hold on to Sims that you're paying him almost $2 million, and you get this guy in here for $2 million, and they give you the same production. Yeah, that's a win-win right there. Now you open it up. Now you open up your books to get better players.
Hey Willie, you a fool for that one, bro. Willie Craig. Willie said Tibbs will not play him because he had issues pronouncing his name. Boy, you a but see, you could also the Knicks might say, you know what? I could start Isaiah Hartenstein and bring him behind Hartenstein, or I can start Soto. It's for the amount of with the productivity. I guess I'm saying the productivity is not too far off. Would you get somebody $15 million for the same productivity somebody can give you at $1 million? You may from a business standpoint. I don't think you do that. Continuity different, but we'll see. I don't think that's gonna happen. I just think you got to watch out for stuff like that because the Knicks is not bringing that dude in here just to bring him in here. I just want to bring him to see how he looks. Shop House. The Knicks see something. They brought him in here a year ago. Like I said, they see something in that dude. And him and Jordan Clarkson over there in the world game, the Philippines. Jordan Clarkson from over there. Jordan Clarkson know how you get down. The cat is growing. He's growing. People get better every year if you put the work in. And I think that's a cat you got to watch out for because now you got all these you got to remember something. Remember how this should be a point guard league, a dribble league. Now you got the big man coming back. Especially you got what's that cat coming out the drive now? Wembanyama, whatever his name is. Now the league. Now you got cats like Giannis and Embiid and people used to think it's funny. They say this is a point guard dribble league. I said, who won the last MVPs in the league? They weren't point guards. You know what I mean? So now you got cats because of their talent, because they can stretch the floor, they got height, they can do all this and do what a point guard can do. Some of them can even dribble like these cats, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, the league, and that's what we complained about the Knicks. They were too small. They were too small. Mitchell Robinson 7 foot. Everybody else in that starting lineup 6'8" and down, 6'9" and down. Everybody Mitchell Robinson is 6'9" and down. So you know what, and that you know you never know, man. So we had to see how it goes, but like I think that's one spot that you can maneuver. But for what I think we need a backup three. If Obi Toppin not going to be here, then we need a backup four. That's what I would go with. You know, I think we need a backup 3 and 4. But because I hate to lose Jericho Sims, I hate to lose any of the Knicks. But I think because Jalen Brunson escalated, or how I say accelerated, the dime process in the championship. I think Jalen Brunson accelerated the championship level type of game we want to play because he's a star. So I think because of what he did and what Randall did last year, the Knicks gonna be like, man, you know what? We should have been in the finals. The Knicks probably sitting right now saying Randall wouldn't have hurt his foot 2 times in the last 10 games of the season into the playoffs. IQ wouldn't have kind of, and youth takes over sometime. The Knicks could have been like, damn, we could have been in the finals, literally. You know what I mean? Because we had Miami number 9. Miami gave it to Boston. We beat Boston pretty good in the regular season. So now they're gonna be like, you know what? Shit, we about 1 or 2 players from winning this shit. So you just never know. You just never know. Now I think that's what the Knicks are looking at. So all of to do all that, Child Powers, they gotta have the money, they gotta have the assets to get it, and they got it. The Knicks got some good contracts, good damn contract. They got some good pieces of trade. They got some young talent trade. If that's what they want to do, Knicks, you take away Derrick Rose and Evan Fournier, Knicks are one of the youngest teams in the NBA, in the least. Right. So they ain't like their old team. They played all the
youngest in the playoffs.
Youngest in the playoffs. So and to a degree that might have hurt them playoff wise because a lot of young guys did not show up in the playoff because it's the pressure. It's the pressure. You know what I mean? They're like, listen, Quickly nice, but he didn't show up in the playoffs. Obi nice, he had some games. McBride didn't show up in the playoff. These cats is young, man. They when you get to the playoff, that's just a whole different animal. The pressure, and when you're that young, if you're not born with a certain skill set, you're not super talented. You're not uber talented. You got to divine your mental game, and some of the guys' mental game just wasn't there. When Miami got physical, Quickly the mental game wasn't there. They didn't know how to adjust. You know what I mean? When Jimmy Butler was getting physical with Quentin Grimes, they didn't have the mental game to adjust to what they were doing. Now, a veteran would have said, okay, nigga, you ain't messing me with that. Get off me with that BS. You know what I mean? Because I've been there, done that already. And I just think that's where the Knicks fell short at. So let's hope these cats come back this year a little better and more that hopefully they don't repeat the same thing. But you best believe the Knicks window with Jalen Brunson is right there for the Knicks taking. It's right there, man. And I don't think they're gonna lose sight of that. Jalen Brunson didn't come here to be going and getting out of the first round of the playoffs. Only that cat came here to do what he did last year with the Dallas Mavericks, get to the Western Conference Final. He damn it got there again. We got a star, a rising star with superstar potential playing point guard for the Knicks, and they are not gonna salvage that opportunity to get that man somebody here with him, Child Powers, that can make it happen. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, that's like I'm trying to downplay, and I'm trying to, I have two sides. Like I said, I think the Knicks want to make a move. I think they want to get a little better. I think they see that they need to open the court with one of these players that they have to move on from. Mm-hmm. If not, you know what I mean? They have to, there's going to, the major thing that they have to worry about right now is Evan Fournier's contract. And I mean, Evan Fournier's contract, you move Evan Fournier, and another good trade for Evan Fournier is to move him to a team that has a lot of cap space. And I mean, a lot of cap space because he's only going to be there for 1 year. So they're only going to eat that $19 million for this year. And if they take him now at the trade deadline, he's tradable as well. So just like we want, you need to get him out there to play. So if you can move Evan Fournier and pick up a couple of picks from San Antonio, I think if I'm not mistaken, they got 2 or 3 picks over there, first round picks. I think they got the first. I think they got a 20-something one and another later one you want to move him and do that, so be it. But that contract from Evan Fournier is the one thing that we need to try to move off of ASAP. And and figure out, I mean, we're the ones sitting here talking about figure out. They probably already figure out, look, Derrick Rose, we love you, but we ain't signing you back. You know what I mean? When you go into that free agent pool, if you want to go wherever you want to go, if we got some money left over, we'll make an offer to you, but we can do thank you for your services and see you.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, Willie Cruz.
no,
No, I'm saying Willie Cruz said if we bring in a true superstar, then he will play JB Grimes, Randall Brunson, and all that with vets over. To me, it all depends who you bring in, Willie Cruz, because it might be Grimes go to the bench. Grimes might be better at the bench because of his youthism right now. You might get somebody who prolific than Grimes and put Grimes to make the bench stronger, or you're going to have to trade one of them, obviously, to bring in somebody of that caliber. You do have to bring in somebody, but I think you can salvage that by putting Grimes at the backup two behind a prolific dude if that superstar is out there. You don't have no choice. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that because as long as he get his minutes, and that's fine. He might be coming in and give you something that Grimes is not giving you at his age right now. Not saying Grimes will never give it to you because Grimes is going to be a special player in the NBA. That's one Nick I would not trade ever. If he developed the way he keep developing, you don't trade Quentin Grimes. But that don't mean he can't sit there and play a different role, like a 6-man role, especially if you lose quickly in Obi them. But if you bring in a prolific dude at the two, like hypothetically, Devontae Murray's name is out there in the rumor mill. So let's say you wind up getting somebody, you brought Devontae Murray in here. I don't have a problem with that either. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a way it could be done. But I do think that we got an opportunity to really, really do some good things in New York, man. I'm super excited about the upcoming season. I just want to see what's going to happen between now and the draft. Shy Power, do we make a trade to get into the draft? Just to you don't got to get in the draft to get the player to play. You can get up in the first round and use it as a trade chip. You know what I mean? Like literally the Knicks can buy a first round pick or trade some of their players to get a first rounder just to sweeten the deal for somebody. You know what I mean? So I think in the next couple of weeks, you never know, the Knicks might will and deal because they got the assets to do it. Let's get into the not the lottery. Excuse me. Let's get into the draft. Let's just get into the draft. I didn't mean to say lottery. I apologize for that. Let's just get into the draft. Trade somebody, buy a first round, whatever way you may do it, and we might take that first round and say, you know what? Depending on who you draft, you might be like, man, he's nice. So now Obi and somebody can be expandable because we got him for 4 years. Maybe he could develop or whatever the case may be. So it's interesting, man. I have no idea what the Knicks going to do, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we just try to throw out scenarios. I'm not locked into nobody on that. I don't even know nobody like that. But I do think that the Knicks got a good chance to do something. I think they got to do something with them 2 contracts. First of all, like me and Shaw Power said, is to move them 2 dudes, Fournier and Derrick Rose, and bring Derrick Rose back if you want to on that biannual section for $4 million. That's fine. I'm fine with that. You can't never underestimate the when it comes to experience and leadership. And it showed in the playoff on a lot of teams. It showed on us for a minute. I think it's going to be interesting, Shot Power. It's going to be a really interesting month. The Knicks can stand pat. I don't think they will. But I am keeping my eye on a lot of things that we talked about tonight because there's a lot of things that can go in the Knicks' favor. And like I said, it's about the name on the front, not the name on the back. It says this, not that. And you just never know. The Knicks never know. Like I said, nobody's untouchable. The Mitchell trade, look at who they was about to send out for Donovan Mitchell. Shit, RJ and Mitchell Robinson. Am I right or wrong? Am I correct on that? They had Mitchell Robinson and RJ in the trade for Donovan Mitchell. You know what I mean? So that kind of got to give you an idea what the Knicks trying to do. They got to give you an idea what they trying to do. If they was going to go in on that deal and give up them, they didn't want to give up all them picks. It wasn't about the players. They didn't want to give up the picks. You know what I mean?
I don't even think it was the picks so much. I think it was because they wanted Grimes too.
Right. So
they wanted Grimes too. I think the Knicks are thinking like, we go, if we give away a couple of picks, we can always get them back. And some other move that we make, you know what I mean? Because that's what they did the last couple of years. They made a couple of moves. They got all these first round picks. They still have 3 protected 4. They got a couple of protected picks that are 1 to 4, 1 to 8. They got a couple of good ones, or top 10. You know what I mean? They still got a couple of picks that can convey. Especially, I think is it Milwaukee's pick that's 1 and 4. the top 4 protected, and everything is 5 and under. They got some picks that they can really make some moves with. That's not even our own picks. You know what I mean? We still have some picks that we can still give up some protected picks. And if you want to sweeten the deal, we have some unprotected picks too. So it's not a thing that I think the Knicks can't make a move. It's not a thing that all these names that we throw out here, these the Levines, the Siakams, the OGs, the KPs, the Cats, is not out of our range to get any of these guys that we talk about. You know what I mean? But the biggest thing is are they going to do it? You know what I mean? What's the direction of the team? How does Leon Rose feel about going down this road right here? Do you want to make this move? Is it going to make us better? Is it going to make us worse? Are we going to stay moderate? You know what I mean? It's all in how they want to make these moves. Do we think, I'm pretty sure they thinking of how these guys are going to come out this year. Is RJ going to be, because the big things that we all talk about, like I said, RJ and Randall, if we move one of those guys, or if we get someone that can, it's not, and let me say this too, because we were talking about Mitch. It's really not, I don't want to say RJ or Randall clogs the paint. Who really clogs the paint realistically is Mitchell Robinson. And if we could get someone that can pull, Mitchell Robinson, you're never going to see Mitchell Robinson camped out at the 3-point line and anybody play defense on him. And last couple of years, you're never going to see that. If you get somebody like a KP or Miles Turner or even Cat, you're going to play defense on him. And what that does is it opens up the floor. Now you're playing more one-on-one type of basketball instead of sliding 2 men over to Brunson or to RJ or to Randall, because that's Mitch man that's sliding,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, real talk. You know what? It's a lot of scenarios there, and I think the Knicks really right now, they don't do nothing else. They just need to get some shooting. And this is the thing. We got to the second round of the playoffs with one dude in the starting lineup shooting 40% from downtown. Everybody was mid. And I know Grimes was not a mid dude, but because of the way his season went. But that might be something that they're looking to address. Like we got to get a little better from downtown. At least get up in the 15 range, halfway through half teams in the season. At least get up to 15th in the league or something. The 3-point shooting kind of hurt us a little bit because Jalen Brunson was the only one that had a pop, and Obi when he was hitting them. So and that's where the Randalls and the RJs got to go out this offseason and say, I got to come back and shoot at least better than league average. So because then what's happening to me, Shot Power, they ain't shooting good at 3. Mitchell Robinson is not a truly offense scoring dude. You know what I mean? And our offense got better. We were in the top of the higher percentile in the offense this year, but we still have some weaknesses there too. So if Mitchell Robinson is not a scorer, Randall not hitting 37 or 38%, RJ not hitting 37, 38% from downtown, and the only one doing it is Brunson and Grimes per se. What happens when the New York Knicks, they shut they go to that zone again on the Knicks? That's the Achilles heel right there, that zone. We don't got no zone busters. Who can say I'm gonna bust this zone wide open because I'm hitting threes so crazy y'all gonna have to you can't do it no more. We don't have that in New York right now. You know what I mean? Like a Matt Strus, or that's why you said you might listen. People might talk about Buddy Hield's defense. Shit, RJ and Randall defense ain't as good as Buddy Hield's. But what he gonna do is take you out of that zone, though.
Facts. He's gonna shoot you out of that zone.
That zone, right? And then if you had a big who literally could score, so when they get in that zone, you throw that ball down in the middle. What they gonna do? Collapse on them? If they collapse on them, you got some zone busters out there. So that's the reason why we try to look at all scenarios about why Mitch might be this guy, or why Randall might be this guy, or RJ might be that guy. Not because we don't love him, or we root for every Knick. You know what I mean? We want to, and that's for real. But there's also ways to get your team better too, and you might have to sacrifice somebody to do that. You know what I mean? Because you got to make this team a little bit better from them aspects of the game. The Knicks cannot rely on bully ball all the time, because you're going to run up against a team who got a bully ball style of defense. You know what I mean? If they got a bully ball style of defense, then your bully ball not gonna work. And unfortunately, Miami don't got us. That's why we was abusing Miami, because they didn't have a bully ball style of defense. They defense is predicated on getting in passing lanes, screening and stealing the ball and blah blah blah. But they don't got no bully ball defense, because the only one who can really stop that was Bam Adebayo here, and he ain't like that aggressive when it comes to bully style. So that's why the Knicks was eating them up that way. But what about if you went up against a team like the Giannis and them, who got a bully ball style of defense in the middle with them two bigs? And if you ain't got no three-point shooters, which the Knicks was lacking in this year, we're going to run into that problem. So I do think the Knicks got to get better from a three-point shooting standpoint this year. And they do that, I think we'd be okay. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm looking at between RJ Randall and Mitchell Robinson. Either them dudes going to have to elevate their three-point shooting, Randall and RJ, or one of them got to go, because it's just not going to work. I just think that we got to get that offense is, unless Grimes and my man really pop. I mean, we know Brunson gonna pop, but if Grimes come back next year, he's shooting what he shot last year with more opportunities, around 38%. Then that's a different story. You know what I mean? So we'll see shot power, but there's some interesting stuff out there. Unique, I'm on that Kai dude, brother. I'm telling you, man. Y'all, that man, young man mess around, come in here and start something. I know y'all think I'm tripping, but that boy Kai come in here and give you half of what Mitchell Robinson or Hartenstein make. Then you just gotta go with it. But yeah, man.
Will Cruz is killing me tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I understand, Will, but that's where it's at, man. Right now, we probably went over everything, man. But right now, that's what the season's about. Because we have to talk about signing, trade, and free agents. We have to talk about the draft. We got to talk about all that, because that's where we at as a Knicks fan right now. It's the all season. You can't talk about stats and numbers because ain't nobody playing no basketball. So we got to talk about what the Knicks going to do moving forward to get this team ready for 2023-24. Because these cats ready to go deep. They ready to go deep. So we have to put up the scenario to make this team better, Shot Powers. And I think we know it's going to be involved in that. Some of that going to happen. And I just want to make sure we on the forefront of talking about it as well, because it's going to happen. You better believe it.
It's no question. Since the game after the Knicks lost to Miami in Game 6, they have been on the books. They have been working trades. They have been working numbers. They've been working players to see which way they can go, what they will have to offer, what they have to offer to a team if they want this player. I believe, since they may have took a week off, but that next week, after they lost that game, I think all those guys, every last one of them, I think they all been in there crunching numbers, putting teams together. What you think about this one here? What you think about this one? Well, if we do this, then we have to move this and this. And do you think this will make us a better team? Well, analytics say that this can make us a better team. Analytics say that this is going to make us about the same way. Analytics say we're going to be less. We're not going to be as good as we were the last season. So I know these guys are already crunching numbers, not seeing none of these guys. You see guys already working out. You see the workouts of Mitchell Robinson. You see IQ out there working out, using some stuff. You see them. These guys are going to come back bigger, stronger, and hopefully that they come back with a different mindset. So who's going to go and what's going to what we want and what the front office is going to do will be a whole different thing. So, there's so many scenarios, so many pieces that you can put together to get the play that you want and still work into the money wise and see how long that the contracts last, so we don't be pressed in the next coming years and stuff like that. So this is the beauty of being in the off season right now, doing all these scenarios, because we don't know what's going to happen. Far as we know, the Knicks may just run it back right now and pray that IQ comes back better. Jay Hart is shooting 3-pointers from now on. All he's shooting is 3-pointers, and Quentin Grimes comes back and he's a 42% shooter next year. Who knows?
Yeah, real talk, man. They got some decisions to make, man. That's what it's all about. We have these conversations because the Knicks got decisions to make. We having conversation about what's the possibility of the Knicks doing this and doing that, because they have some scenario they got to get by. They got to think about Obi Toppin. They got to think about my man and them. If the salary cap implication is big, it really is, because how if we want to maintain moving forward with the flexibility, then are we going to take in 4-year players or 2-year players? I like what see, that's what interested me now that Scott Perry leaving. When Scott Perry came here, he wasn't taking on all the contracts. Scott Perry was taking on 2-year contracts, 1-year contracts, $5 million contract. He was building this thing to a certain level. Now that he's leaving in June, who to say they don't go a different direction? They might be like, I'm about to go big game hunting now. See, it makes a difference in all these scenarios. So knowing that Scott Perry leaving, he was the architect of all this stuff down there since he got here in 2018. The culture and everything. The cats being in the gym 2 times a day, not trading first round draft picks just like Phil Jackson did. So now that he's going, who we don't know what these cats going to be doing. We don't know what general manager going to say. You know what? They might be like, just here, think about it. Garrison, Tom Thibodeau, Leon Rose, Worldwide Western might be saying, you know what? It's time to strike right now. See, that wasn't their philosophy. That wasn't Scott Perry's philosophy. His philosophy was build organically through these young guys, get these draft picks up here, and get our draft picks in here, develop them, and get them to this level. And he had done that. He took Mitchell Robinson from a second-round pick to 36th pick to a $15 million contract. He took R.J. Barrett from a third-round pick. He just got a bag. Scott Perry was building this stuff organically. Look at Amanda Quickly, got him at the 25th pick. He about to get a bag. You know what I mean? So he have done the right thing with these young players up. But now that these young players that we done brought up through this organization getting that money, now the Knicks expecting these cats to produce. You know what I mean? Literally. Obi Toppin, the jury's still out on Obi Toppin. But he been playing backup power forward since he's been in the league. Some of it to no fault his own, that, you know, we get on tips about not playing, but sometimes he wasn't deserved to be playing at the time. Cat wouldn't play no defense. His 3-point shot wasn't like the first year he came in, he started working on his game. He got better. He started getting more time. But now, Scott Perry leaving, might be different. It might be different now, Scott Perry leaving, because he's the one doing all this stuff. You know what I mean? Now they might feel like we done got Jalen Brunson. I think that was more about Leon Rose and the Tom Thibodeau and Worldwide West of Jalen Brunson thing. I don't think that was about Scott Perry. I don't think a lot of these certain moves, like even look at the Fournier deal. I don't think Tom Thibodeau wanted either one of them dudes, Fournier or Kemba Walker, because they not his type of players. You know what I mean? Shot Powers. Tom Thibodeau didn't want no Evan Fournier. He ain't want no Kemba Walker. That wasn't his doing. So, you know, now it's different. Now these cats might be thinking different now that we done got to this certain level of play. They might think it's time to strike while the iron's hot, because they might not have that chance no more. This window with Jalen Brunson these 4 years, you best believe that they're going to try to win while they got him. So they're going to have to do something. And that's why we talk about the scenario, Shop Power, because they're going to have to do something. Because the Jalen Brunson window is important for the New York Knicks. They realize they got a star on their hand, a star. And they're going to make sure they capitalize on it. So you can forget all that, want to bring these young cats in here and try to develop. That is over with, bro, for the next 4 years. But even for the next 4 years, the Knicks going to try to compete. And if they don't make it, all them contracts come off the book. All four. Randall had a 4-year deal. RJ had a 4-year deal. Mitchell Robinson had a 4-year deal. Brunson had a 4-year deal. So within these 4 years, the Knicks are going to feel like we're going to have to try to go for this thing. And if it don't work out, all them contracts come off the book. And they'll be back to rebuilding. They got the assets to rebuild in the future. They got a lot of draft picks, so they can go in there and fight for this thing for the next couple of years. And if it don't get to where they want to go, and when them contracts start coming expirings, then you move them. But I don't think that's the case right now. I think Knicks is in championship mode for the next 5-6 years. I think they're going for it without messing up the infrastructure, without doing what they did back in the days, just buying free agents, just getting free agents.
Yeah.
They not on that. Yeah, they not on that, but they're going to be fighting for this championship, though. But I don't think they're going to do what they did the last 10, 20 years, though.
Yeah, that's a fact. And shout out to Almighty Finesse. I'm going to say this about that Matherman thing. I doubt that happens. That would be the trade of the deal if we could get him. I wanted him, you know, and they ain't giving him up. Him and Halliburton is going to run that Indiana team for the next couple of years. I think they have a great those two guys are going to be the starters right there. So you know, good to say it out there. You know, that's how you feel. I feel you about that, but I do not see even giving up 2-3 first-round picks of our own. I do not see Big Ben coming over here to break up that team. You know what I mean? But see what happens. Who knows? Who am I? Who am I to say that it's not going to happen? You throw the right things together, and maybe Indiana. Who knows? You throw three players in there. You throw RJ Rand. Make some crazy trade and get Mathurin and Mathurin and Turner. Maybe you can see something happen. I don't see that happening at all, but you can hope, winging a prayer. I wanted him, like I said, in the draft, but I don't see him going anywhere, especially the type of year that he had last year. They ain't not letting him go. Just like we talk about BI. I don't think BI going anywhere. Brandon Ingram with Zion, with all those guys that they got over there, I don't see them going nowhere. They got the guy that came over from oh my gosh, I just forgot his name. CJ, you know what I mean? I don't see that team breaking up no time soon. They got a nice little, you know what I mean? Would they take RJ for BI? I doubt it. If you could get Zion healthy and keep Ingram healthy with CJ, man, they'd be lethal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a couple of teams, like that. But those names I say because that's what I want. But I know those are trades that have not happened. BI, Mathurin, Giannis, all those guys like that. I think they're gonna stay pat where they are, and it's not gonna be no real moves or nothing like that to get those guys like that. It'd be good to think about it and stuff like the hope and a prayer, but that's about all that's probably in anything like that.
You forget about the Knicks trading for young players. They ain't on that, man. I'm telling you, they not, bro. The Knicks is on. I need to get some savvy cats in here, veteran with experience who won't fold under pressure. Now, I tell you that I could understand why Indiana Pacers would want to get Obi Toppin. You got Halliburton, Mathurin, Obi Toppin. You got Jalen Smith down there. That's why Duarte is suspendable. That's exactly why they traded Duarte, because Ben Mathurin made him expendable. That's all. Bottom line, he made him expendable. So now I can see why they want Obi Toppin down there with them young thoroughbreds and Jalen Smith and all these cats and shit. If that's the case, you might see they might do something with a Mitchell Robinson and Obi Toppin. They might do it. They might say, I got Mitchell Robinson, Obi Toppin, I got Mathurin, I got Halliburton, I got Jalen Smith, and I got a lot of other stuff. That's a nice young nucleus for them guys, so you never know. You know what I mean? And that's why they might want to get rid of the veterans and rebuild that way and save that money. You know what I mean? You never know. So I think the Knicks, no matter what they do, they're going to be in a good spot to do it. Let's not sleep on what they're going to do, man. I think they're going to get out there. The front office is going to just strategically make this thing happen. Like we said earlier, you got too many contracts you don't need. You don't need Obi. I mean, not Obi. Excuse me. Evan Fournier contract. You don't need contract. You don't need them contract. They don't need them. And you got listen. They got like Almighty. They got Trey Murphy out there in New Orleans. I mean, you got the Cat Walker who could defend with the best of them. Alvarado, all these cats, man. They got what's the cat name? The center, the backup center, the young cat. He didn't come to me, man. But cat could jump out of the gym. He got the Mitchell Robinson type of game. So
from where you said, Divine?
Indiana. So you got not Indiana. I meant to say New Orleans.
I know you're talking about
crazy hair cat. He nice though. He's a hustler. So I do think it's possibilities. A lot of things go a lot of ways. Ladies and gentlemen, we just throwing them out there because this is the type of season we in. But I do think the Knicks front office has already got their eyes set on what they want to do. They got a lot of things to do. They got a lot of ways they could go. They got a lot of ways. And I like what G Money had. I like the Oubre thing, backing up, playing backup on New York. He get the buckets like that. He's a good defender. I like Oubre thing. I really do like that one. I liked him for a while because he got the type of game that translate in New York. You know what I mean? Really does. So the guys like that, I don't have a problem bringing in there. Here's another thing. I don't have a problem with trading Evan Fournier back to trade him to Charlotte because he played with Coach Crawford. You know what I mean? Coach Clifford. I'm sorry, he played with Coach Clifford and down in Orlando and all that stuff. So you just never know. And what can happen with this thing, man. But I know they got to move him. You know what I mean? They're gonna move him and they're gonna move on. But ladies and gentlemen, That's what we have with the Knicks season so far. I think they got a lot of teams where they can go. They got a lot of teams they could deal with. I think I like that Almighty Flex, but I think Rozier gonna want to start. I think he's gonna want to start, and I don't see him putting him in the. I don't see him putting him in front of no Jalen Brunson, unless you're gonna put him on put my man Quentin Grimes on the bench. So I like the trade, but if I don't know if Rozier willing to back up anybody, he that nice. So Scary Terry can get it popping. He was gonna be a Knick not too long ago, a couple of years ago. But that's a good one too, though, Almighty. I like Rozier, but I don't know where he's gonna fit in unless he's gonna come off the bench, or you're gonna put him at the 2 or put Grimes on the bench. That's an interesting scenario right there. But no matter what, they're in a good spot, man. AP, they are, you 100% right on that. They're in a very good spot. I'm not worried about the Knicks.
There's one thing that I heard today too. In this new CBA contract thing, that there's going to be some stipulations about how many games that players play and how they get paid too. So that's another thing that I'm going to try to do some homework before I fully talk about it and stuff like that. But I heard what Raw Hebrew was talking about it today, and he said something about I caught like a glimpse of towards the end of his thing, and he was talking about 65 games or something like that. I think I was at work or something like that. He was talking about 65 games you have to do minimum before you could get into the All-Star or All NBA, and and that depends on what your contract will look like. But I'll look into it a little bit more. I heard a little bit of it. I didn't watch him today, but I heard a little piece of that thing. So that's something to take into consideration too. If they implement something about you have to play 65 games in order for you to get your full contract for the year, and if you want to be inducted into any of these All-Star, All NBA things and all that stuff, you have to play at least 65 games. That'll make teams play a little harder. Players try to stay a little bit more healthy and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, we cut down on the low management and all that. Yeah. But interesting about that, from the money wise, that's a hard sell for the not the NBA. I'm talking about the collective bargaining. I'm talking about the Players Association, not like the owners. I don't think the players they're gonna wait, but they're not gonna wait one bit about taking money away. I don't think they're gonna do that. They like, nah, y'all not taking none of our money away. I don't think that would even be negotiated to me. From I mean, you a union guy, you know what I mean. We ain't giving no money back, man.
Yeah.
We stand on the picket lines all day. I know when I was a union worker, a union roofer, we would stand on picket lines. You ain't taking away the union money. So I don't know how the owners going to pull that off with the with the Player Association, but it'd be interesting though. I would love to see that, man. When you get that information, let me know. And
I'm gonna dig into it a little bit once I can get on my computer and stuff like that. I seen it today. I haven't really been able to chap it up and stuff like that. I should have kept it quiet, but it was something that I remembered. You know what I mean? And that's something to think about this. When this CBA contract thing comes into fruition and stuff like that.
Do y'all think that they're going to move up in the first round of the playoff? Do y'all think they're going to make a deal to get into the draft? I mean, not the playoff, the draft. Right now, they don't have nothing. They don't have no picks in the first round. I don't think the second either, I'm not mistaken. Do y'all think they did? They don't have no draft picks, none.
Nah, not this year.
Not this year. So that tells you that, to me, that tells you all you need to know. When we traded Jalen Duren last year, I knew this thing was going the other way. The minute we traded away that pick we had last year, we didn't draft nobody. I knew it was going the other way. The Knicks is about to try to win a ring. Now
and we got young players too. You know what I mean?
Right. That's young players. We had young players already. So how many more young players they need? Because you got to put some veterans in there. And I know that's what it was. When they got Jalen Brunson, they got rid of all that. Like, man, the Knicks don't cats ready to smell the playoffs. These cats want to win. They want to win. Tom Thibodeau want to win one before he leaves this thing, man. You know what I mean? And they were damn that close this year, so you know what they on. But yeah, he was, man. But you know what? I'm good with these guys, man. Hey, Cameron, I wouldn't. Don't worry about it, Cameron. I know James Dolan was an issue, man. But James Dolan haven't been involved with the Knicks since Phil Jackson. And he really haven't been tampered. Only really had to get involved with them was to get fired Steve Mills because he was the president, and that the next one after the president is the owner or whatever, the CEO. So other than firing Steve Mills, Jane Dolan haven't been dipping dabbing this stuff, and they've been doing damn well. Let's not get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. For the last 3 years, Knicks been to the playoffs twice. They ain't broke. Right. We got to give them a little bit of kudos. You know what I mean? These cats been to the playoffs, and last year they would have made it. Trust me, them injuries wouldn't have happened, and Knicks would have been in the playoffs. So
five games for 500 season.
Right.
37 wins.
So they on a good path, man. Let's not get it twisted. Knicks on a good path. We'll see what they do. Like a lot of Wild said, we'll see what happens in 2 weeks. To see the time going so fast, next thing you know, we'll be the end of this June. We be trading free agency. Tommy coming, traffic be coming in, so it's moving pretty fast, man. We had to see what these cats gonna do, but just from my perspective, I think the Knicks is gonna try to maintain what they got and bring in a player who can help them. They not bringing in people just to bring them in here. They're not wasting that space like that. They not. You know what I mean? Like I said, my man Derrick Rose and Kevin Evan Fournier did not even play. What'd that tell you? They didn't even play them dudes. So we can't talk about they didn't play. They benched them 2 dudes for 2 young dudes. Think about that. The Knicks benched Derrick Rose for a young Quickly, hypothetically, and they benched Evan Fournier for Quentin Grimes. So we gotta throw that narrative about kids don't play the young guys, because that's not true. RJ Barrett played ever since he's been in the NBA at a young dude. Mitchell Robinson played for the Knicks as a young dude. He got extended as a young dude. So all these cats been playing under Tibb. Sometimes the one I know they get upset about Obi Toppin, but that's a different scenario. I don't think it got nothing to do with Tibb not playing him. I think that got a lot to do with Randall and sometimes his defense. And I don't think Obi Toppin is a Tibb type of guy per se because of his defense. That's it. Just because of his defense, I don't think he's a Tibb type of player. But this team is young. They've been playing him. Deuce McBride, he get in there because the only thing he's good for right now is playing defense. Until he learns how to get down the lane, break down the defense, he's going to be what he be at for a long time. That's why I don't think that it's going to extend him. I think they're going to let him go because he's going to be another Frank Ntilikina, period. That's the bottom line. He's just going to be another Frank. They're going to let him play the 4 years out, maybe, and let him go on because he don't do nothing to help them in a sense other than his defense. And he not when you got an opportunity to back up somebody, you got to go take your spot. And I don't think he can beat out Mano quickly. No, so that's just what it boils down to. You know what I mean? And I think that's where the Knicks is at. See how Powell, I think they're gonna fill these voids. Shit, they might go and I don't think they will do it. They might go get Chris Paul there. You know what I mean? Like fuck it. Chris Paul or Deuce McBride. Which one you taking? You know what I mean? That's where I think the Knicks are at right now. Deuce McBride or Russell Westbrook. Even if you don't like Russell Westbrook, Deuce McBride ain't no Russell Westbrook. That's a Hall of Famer. So because they in championship caliber mode, and that's what you're supposed to do. Put them guys who know how to play in those games, but they got them on cheap contracts. I think that's where they at right now. I think they just moving in that direction. They're going to go for this thing, and they're going to get players just like that. Some of them cheap-ass contracts, pardon my French, that don't but a veteran, though, who got game left, but they don't cost them a lot. And they're going to fill them voids to get to this championship, and that's what they're going to have to do. So, but you never know. Randall, all of them might be back next year. Randall is going to be back. I think RJ will be back. I think that whole starting 5 might be back next year unless they do something that we didn't think they were going to do. Other than that, I think the Knicks running back with the starting 5 next year. I think we go into the season next year with at least the starting 5 the same. Then what they might fill in after that, it all depends on Quickly. Because everybody that the Knicks talking about getting rid of is Quickly Quickly because of his contract, Obi because of his contract. They're going to sign Josh Hart. So the player they might bring might be in a fill them guys void. You know what I mean, Shaw Powell? They might not bring nobody to take RJ and Randall them out of there. They might bring somebody to replace these other guys on the bench if they trade them because they got to extend them long term in a couple of years. So stuff like that is what I'm looking at. I'm really not even looking at. I think the Knicks starting 5 probably be back next year. I don't have a problem with it, but I think they can be that way. But we'll see how it goes. But they just got to bring in a little bit more firepower, and they're gonna have to, it all depends. They might extend Quickly. They might extend Obi and run it back. Say, listen, man, we good. We just a couple of guys just didn't do it for us right now. You know what I mean? In the playoffs this year, or Randall had us because of the ankle injury and all that, or whatever the case may be. You know, until he get better in the playoffs, that's something that he's gonna have to work on and down the line. How can I be better in the playoffs? Because right now that's like a knock on Randall. He haven't performed in the playoffs yet. So other than Randall, I think that, getting better, Quickly might come out and say, it won't happen to me again in the playoffs. So you never know.
Right.
It ain't gonna happen to me next year. So they might get Quickly 17 to 18 million, and him and Josh Hart, and say, I'm gonna let these 2 guys, if they give Obi money that's good as too, I'm happy about that too. But I think if anything, that Josh Hart and Quickly gets the money, and they'll take it from there. That's what I'm banking on. That's what I think will happen.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm my mind is in a quagmire. I don't know what the Knicks are gonna do. You know what I mean? Are we gonna make a big move or are we gonna stay packed? You know what I mean? It soon will come. What I like and what the Knicks are gonna do are probably two different things. You know what I mean? So I've already come to the conclusion that the move for Julius Randle will probably not happen this year. You know what I mean? I don't think I was a lot of the things like we were putting RJ against not putting them against, but talking about RJ and Randall and who would move from there. And I was more so on Randall because of the youth in RJ. But I don't think Julius Randle is going anywhere. I always say too that as long as Tom Thibodeau is here, Julius Randle has a home. So I think at least for another year we'll see Randle here. Until we move off of Tibbs.
Yeah. I like why you probably dead on like that, but I think I was saying earlier, even on a couple of streets, I thought that Quickly and Grimes would be the other two Knicks that they extend coming out their rookie deals. I thought it would be. I know with RJ, with RJ and Mitchell Robinson. Now I think it's going to be Quickly and Grimes be the two Knicks that they extend off their rookie deals. Everybody else ain't guaranteed. Sims ain't guaranteed. I don't think Obi is. And I don't like you said, I don't think Bruce McBride is. I think them might be those three guys that don't get that rookie extension. But I do think Grimes and Quickly got a chance to get it though, because they do have an impact. They literally have an impact on the Knicks. You know what I mean? So we have to see how that goes. But I think for me, one thing I want to say about Randall, man, I know everybody get on Randall, but Randall and the Knicks ain't never got to the playoffs until Randall got here. The last time Knicks been in the playoffs, Randall got here, the Knicks got to the playoffs. I know he might not be that guy. He might got all this issue with the move, but listen, man, if Randall was on any other team, he wouldn't be getting inside. That dude's an all NBA player. I mean, all NBA. I mean, he's an all-star. He got his issues, but you know what I love about Randall? He want to be in New York. I want cats who want to be here. Randall want to be in New York City. How many players gonna take his salary? Let him do it. He do good things off the court, man. You know what I mean? And here's what you might not think he's a leader, but a lot of guys like Randall. In the locker room like him. He go out there when he working out in the summer. He bring cats down there with him to work out. He do all the things a leader would do. And I was listening to Steve Popper on Knicks Film School talking about Randall. How they value that dude, man. I understand why. I mean, the cat don't got no issues off the court. He represents the city well. Family guy. He donating every 3-point shot to Earl Monroe school that they built in the Bronx. He doing the things that, and here's the most part people don't give Randall credit for. The man took less money to stay in New York. People don't understand that. The reason why Knicks was able to help get Jalen Brunson and all he got, because Randall took less money. Randall could have got his money. Literally could have got his money. He was willing to take his money, take less money to help Knicks build something. And you know what? They did it. So for all the stuff that he might do that we don't agree on, but man, the kid 24 and 11 or 24 and 10 and 5, 6 and 6. Yeah, he got to work on certain things. A lot of players in the NBA have moments. And Julius Randle ain't the only dude that might slack on plays every now and then. It's a lot of guys do that. But at the same time, think about this here. If Julius Randle wasn't on the Knicks this year, they would not have been they would not have been to the second round of the playoffs. You could book that. If Julius Randle wasn't in the Knicks uniform, they would not have got to that second round. You know what I mean? And when RJ had an up and down, when Brunson was trying to find his way in his first year with the Knicks, Julius Randle literally carried the Knicks for a while, man. He carried them in the first playoff that year. Julius Randle put the New York Knicks on his back in that 2020-21 with no help. No help. A young RJ, an older Derrick Rose, and a bunch of $5 million players. He put them caps on his feet, put the friend on the back, and took the Knicks to the play. They lost in the first round, but he got them there. This year he got a better player with Brunson. They went further. So I think the Knicks really like Julius Randle, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to tell y'all, but the Knicks, they think he's a important cog to this wheel because his numbers don't lie, and he did help him get there. He did help these cats get there. You know what I mean? And the Knicks value Julius Randle, so I think people be tripping when they talk about just it ain't that simple to get rid of. How many dudes in the league putting up Julius Randle numbers? I'm gonna keep it simple like that. How many dudes in the NBA putting up Julius Randle numbers? I don't think it can't be no more than 15 of them. You know what I mean? So I just think we just gotta, get the right shooters in here, like everybody said. I think Shaw Powell, just get a couple of shooters in here who deadly from downtown to put on that bench. Hope Quentin Grimes come back better than he was last year. Hope Mitch stay healthy. I seen RJ working on this game. He's working on that mid-range spin to the baseline, spin to the this offseason. I was watching the film of him in the pickup game today. He was with my man Reed and Nimrod. They was in Orlando playing in the pickup game today. Yesterday or today. I think the flip. So he out here working. Let's hope these cats come back, Shaw Powell, and can be better than what they were, and add a couple of shooters there, man, and some savvy guys who's not going to be able to fold under pressure. See what they do. And then after that, like you said, the next year they have all the money. So we'll see. I'm confident that they do. I just want to say that about Julius Randle because I think that guy since he got here, the Knicks been to the playoffs. Well, before he got here, the Knicks wasn't in the playoffs. That's all I can say. And he did it with RJ and Derrick Rose. 20 so the same year everybody thought it was a fluke because it was the nobody in the gym and all. I don't believe all that stuff. That's bogus. He put the same numbers up this year and better. So it wasn't because nobody wasn't in the gym. So you know what I mean? It's just that the next year after that, the Knicks went the wrong way. They went the wrong way. I think the Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker was a mistake just due to the fact too many people needed the ball in that offense. Kemba Walker needed it. Fournier needed it. Randall needed it. RJ needed it. The only one that needed was Mitch. You know what I mean? So them cats needed the ball to score to be effective in our game, and we needed something different than that. But I like where we at though. I really do, Chop Howard. We should be okay, man. I'm excited for this season. I'm excited for the next couple of weeks. Do I think Knicks make a move somehow, some way? Yes, I think they do. Who it is, I have no idea. I
want to give a quick shout out to Felicia Lee that's in the chat. Thank you for coming in. First time to see you. Thank you for coming in. Like and subscribe if you like. And thank you for coming in. Yeah, Divine. What else can we say? I mean, these next 2 or 3 weeks coming is going to be something to really watch for because as we get closer to all these things, and it will let us know where the Knicks are heading and how we're going to get there. And there's so many ways that we can make some of these moves. If you want to put Hardenstein in a move with RJ, if you want to move IQ with Randall, if you want to move Evan Fournier with Mitch, if you want to do 3 of those guys, RJ, so many ways that they could put these things together. And the one thing that can help us out is we got so many picks to put along with these packages. So we're in good setting right now. We got some trade, we got some draft picks. We got some steady contracts, and we got some good players. Let's see what happens in these next couple of days.
Yeah, real talk. Hey, that's a good one on Will Cruz. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing about Burks. You know what I mean? I definitely wouldn't be opposed to bringing him back. You know what I mean? That's what was interesting to me about like the Deuce McBride and them Shop Howard. It's guys like that out there. If you lose quickly, then you bring back Alex Burks.
Right.
If you lose quickly, bring back Alex Burks. You know what I mean? Because he's that dude can get buckets just like quickly. You know what I mean? He defend ain't quickly, but he can shoot the ball though. He can score with the ball.
And he can play some defense. He ain't no scrub.
Yeah, right. He not Kemba Walker, but
right.
Yeah, and so things like that. The Knicks is good, man. Ladies and gentlemen, they good. I like where we at, and I think the next couple of years, next couple of weeks gonna be telling. We know we'd be on the forefront of it all. We'd be trying to see what's popping, man. But I do like where we at, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep this thing going. Y'all keep subscribing to the channel, man. We here, man. We here. We trick Knicks believers, man. And there's one of the probably most optimistic channels you're gonna see out there. We can deal with the good and the bad and the ugly, but we try to keep everything on a positive. I like what I've seen. There's no reason to even think of the negative about the Knicks right now. There shouldn't even be no negative conversation about the Knicks. Not after this year. So right now we should be looking at the road ahead and the good things. But I do like where we at. Salute to Jalen Brunson for coming in here, having an impact. Salute to Randall, RJ. I hope I don't have a problem with the starting 5 coming back next year. I really don't. I do not have a problem with it. As long as we get somebody on that bench to help make the transition a little bit more stronger when it comes to subbing and all that. I think the Obi Toppin thing is interesting. We're gonna see what they're gonna do with that. That's a real interesting scenario to me, Shop Powers. Are they gonna try to let Obi stay another year and see if he can produce even more, or do you think this might be the end of the road for him? The other thing is out there: are we going to sign him in quickly, or you think that might be the road, last road for him in New York, or they sign him and keep him? So it's a lot of these things going on, but I think no matter which way we go, the Knicks gonna be okay. But listen, man, salute to the chat, y'all cats, ladies and gentlemen, was on fire. Like I said, like Shop Howard said, Felicia, thank you for coming in so much. We appreciate you. I like that quote though, Felicia. You're 100% right. If you don't show up after this, the playoffs, it might be over for him. That's facts right there, Felicia. You got
and you got to think about this too. Mm-hmm. Randall is the only player on our team that could probably deserve a super max. Let that thing into your head too.
300,000. Yes, sir. Yep. So that's an interesting scenario, Felicia. Thank you for that check. Because if he don't show up in the playoffs, it might be a wrap for him. It might be. So but I think they got to get to that level first and get to that stage. But I think they come to play next year. I think the Knicks come back hungry as ever. I think they're gonna be hungry next year. They're gonna be hungry. Mitch gonna be a little bit more healthier. So if they don't make any moves and keep the starting lineup the way it is, let's just hope that these guys can stay healthy. Hope they came and worked out on their games over the summer and got better and all that stuff. Mitch with the free throw shooting. Hope he get that down pack. And I hope Tom Thibodeau found a way to get him more involved in the offense. Every now and then, Tibbs or Jalen Brunson or Randall them post Mitchell Robinson. The cat guy, he athletic enough to do something down there. You got to post him though. You got to give him an opportunity. If not, he might be like, man, I'm getting tired of running up and down the court, like he said in Twitter or something. I'm getting tired of running up and down the court. Just hey.
A post move and let him shoot 2 threes a game. Make teams be honest. He might hit 1 out of 2. He might go 50% from 3-pointers. I mean, let's see what happens.
Yep, real talk. But Shot, man, give me a last word. We're gonna get out of here, man, and get ready to do what we do.
Divine, salute to you as always. Salute to the chat. That's where it's at. Hey, listen, guys, we're on the road to 1G, man. We're trying to get to that 1K mark, man. We really, really close. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you're on right now, please hit them like buttons. And let's help us help you to help us to help you, or however that scenario goes. And but like I said, man, salute to the chat. Salute to you, Divine, as always. Let's get it.
Salute to everybody in the building tonight, man. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us like always. As always, man, you cats make Knicks Real Talk what it is, man. The chat is where it's at. That ain't no hyperbole right there, no straight facts. Man, and that's the truth, man. Y'all keep us in your thoughts, man, all the time, man. And like I said, it don't cost you nothing. Hit the button, you know what I mean? Don't hide.
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Don't hide, subscribe. You know what I mean? You know what it is. I ain't TLC, but I ain't too proud to beg though.
Word up.
So yeah, man, it's fun, man. Listen, I guess what's it, Wednesday or Thursday? Y'all just look for the notification. We come up with some more content. Hopefully, I know we seem like the trade stuff is out there, but that's all we came by. I think we did a good job today of breaking down the itinerary for the night, man. We talked about the team that the Knicks could trade with, talked about the position that we needed, and all that good stuff. So I think it was a good show tonight, man. And salute to all you guys in there. Peace of love, peace of a brother, man. Salute to you. But listen, man, let's get it. We see y'all cats on the next episode. Just look for the notification, man. We be in the building. Salute to the chat. That's where it's at. Y'all up here. Everybody. Salute to all you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Felicia, thank you for coming in, Miss. Don't be no stranger. Always, the door is always open, man. We love to see more ladies up in here, man. Real talk. But Felicia, thank you for coming in. Appreciate your thoughts and your thoughts and everything. It was all good here. So she was bringing some good stuff for us, man. And I like what she was bringing out there, because you're right. Randall and Jalen Brown, $300 million. Nah, they can't fill in the playoffs with that money. So you 100% on with that. But let's get it, man. We out of here. Salute to the chat. That's where it's at. We see y'all on the next one, man. Next Real Talk, Divine Shout. We out. Peace.
Yes.
Time for Divine Shout, KJ Events. This Real Talk's the brand. You understand how we do, my man. I'm on that Friday night Knicks shit, dripping in Knicks shit. Up in the world, most famous arena with the click. That's the conglomerate. Knicks Real Talk, we're real prominent. I'm a bit like the Omicron variant, dominant. Paying homage to the cat in the chat. That's where it's at. Cause I'm hearing that. You don't care for hyperbole, you straight facts. We interact with the mob, the gods. Up in the pod, the squad, the side. My entourage be on the job, my energy. Feeling tripping in tempo. As they cook my game plan, let my brand salute and pursuit. Going hard like the New York City gritty committee. Cause that the things we know is pretty, but we all stay giddy. But we embrace the fan base like the late Anthony Mace. trace the logo in the airspace that appear like square space. Staring down on the Chase Bridge, look at that Knicks City drip. And City Jackson's on the court, looking pretty legit. I stay true to the orange and blue. I thought you knew for him a few bars to shine like stars divine on Mount Mars. Knicks real talk. Here we go, let's go.
Knicks real talk right here. I'm representing
Knicks real talk.
right here. Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
We here in the building.
Knicks real talk.
Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Knicks real talk.
We here.
Here we go,
in the
let's go.
building. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Let's get it.